Uh. Welcome to the Blue Lounge. Welcome to the stream. Oh boy, I don't know how to react to this. I don't know how to react to this. What a night. What a night. What a howler. What a howler. What was going on? Chelsea conceding 7 goals in 2 games. Back-to-back defeats. Benzema was allowed to have an easy day at the office. Thiago Silva, Christensen, Mendy, our defense, Reece James. Our defense tonight was shambolic, lads. Shambolic. Mendy, I've always thought the day's gonna come when his footwork is gonna cost us a big game. When his kicking that ball is gonna cost us a big game. You can see it coming. You can see it coming. And it came today. It came today. At 2-1, going to the Bernabeu, we're still in the game. At 3-1, we're in trouble, lads. We are in serious trouble. Great goals by Benzema. The 2 goals, the 2 headers, they were fantastic. They were fantastically converted by him. But our defenders should have done better. And the 3rd goal, it's on Mendy. I know people are saying Rudiger could have done better, but nah, it's on Mendy. It's a bad pass. Very, very bad pass. I'm in shock, lads. I'm in shock. I don't know how to describe what I'm feeling right now. It's just literally I'm in shock. I've got Nick, who's at the bridge. I think he's having internet connection issues, but he's also giving us his reaction from Stamford Bridge as of when he is able to connect. But the game wasn't planned, wasn't controlled. I mean, Tuchel having to change formation so many times during that game, it just showed the lack of control we had. And in the previous meetings with Real Madrid, we've always had control of the game. Today we had no control. We started the game 3-4-3, we ended it 4-2-4, pretty much. And we had a multitude of different formations during that game. I'm gonna just shout out the guys in the chat, and I'm gonna open it to my panel because I really don't know where to go from this. Let me.
Can I go first?
Welcome.
I've got a lot to say, a lot.
You just bear with me. Let me just say hello to the guys in the chat. Courtney, big up to you. Bless up. Fazo, welcome. Kelly Cruz, first time I've seen you in the chat. Big up, welcome. Did they really need to? I don't think they did need to. I mean, I know you're talking about the time wasting, and you know, Carvajal looked like he was getting punched. You know, he was like being KO'd every time he lost the ball. It felt like he was being knocked out by Mike Tyson. It's just it is what it is, but it's football banter. Frank, big up to you. The Champions League is over. Time to move on. We'll see. Bobby Fairview, welcome to you. Mendes distribution is really poor and has always been too poor. Yeah, mate. Look, I knew it was going to cost us at some point in the future. But it's cost us today. It's cost us today in a very, very big game. The one Danzo Chelsea have no backbone. The attack aside from Havertz, just it's not been good. ITM, big up to you, my man. Remember what we did to Juventus next week? Let's see. Politics. Time to talk about Mount. Alex, Mo, big up to you, Alex. Mendy has been awful. All right. Thank you all for being here. Thank you all for clicking on the stream. It's not upbeat, but you can't be upbeat after a result like that. Let me just say hello to my panelists. Podfather, welcome. How are you?
I'm good, man. Well, not good, but happy to be here.
You're breathing. You're healthy. You're good.
Yeah, to be honest, yeah, it is what it is, man. You know,
it is what it is. Yeah. Boogeyman, how are you?
I'm good.
You're on mute, Boogeyman. I cannot hear you.
Can you hear me? Yeah.
Hello? Yeah, I can hear you. How are you, Boogie?
Can you hear me?
I can. How are you, Boogie?
Oh, yeah, I'm good. Thanks for having me, and thanks to the UK government also for whatever they're doing to Chelsea. Thanks.
Yeah. COVID, UK government, sanctions, racist bidders. It's getting heavy. Bobby, how are you? How you doing?
Sorry, I was just unmuting myself. Let me choose my words carefully. I'm a little bit annoyed today. There's a multiplicity of reasons for today that cannot be ignored and should not be ignored. I don't want us to discuss this game as if we're dealing with with a normal situation. Yes, there are mistakes and things, but we cannot and should not ignore the factors in and around what has caused the. I mean, how much can one club take?
Definitely. Yeah, we're definitely going to be addressing all of those issues because, this result has happened on the back of a lot of issues, and it isn't just footballing issues. There's a lot of things that are going on off the pitch that definitely impacted this result and the result against Brentford. But we'll address all of that in just a second. Couch Critic, how are you? How you doing?
The warning signs were there, man. The warning signs were there. That's all I got to say. What we saw today is not too dissimilar what we saw against Brentford, not too dissimilar what we saw even before the international break. And it just reared its ugly head at the wrong time. We're just not in form as a squad. We're not. There's a lot of reasons for that. I think that what we're seeing on the pitch right now is a jaded squad, a squad that's played a lot of football And the hallmark of this football team, since Tuchel's come, is the ability to be compact defensively and then spring on the counter and then also to press relentlessly. And, we just don't have the energy to do that right now with the amount of games that we had, through the COVID period, playing a million games and not having a break. Only team that had to do that. We had the most games in Europe as is, and we just never caught any breaks. So I think that's what we're seeing right now.
Yeah, no, definitely that played a big part tonight. That played a massive part tonight. Nick Blue from Stamford Bridge. Can you hear me?
Yeah,
How are you?
Yeah, I'm all right. But it feels really, really, really bad. But I think I think if it wasn't with the problems we've had, the new owners that beat us, all these stories. If it was a normal day and normal times, I would have been even more sick. But we have so much problems, so I can't blame the players. They did try it. I can't blame them. They tried, but we're just not clinical enough. That's our problem. We pass
Nick,
the ball
I
well.
want
Yeah.
I want you to tell me a little bit about the atmosphere at the bridge today.
Yeah.
Was it similar to the Brentford game, or was
No.
the
No.
was the crowd up for
No.
this?
It was the crowd was on it from the start, even before the game outside the ground. It was everyone was singing, shouting for the team outside the main gate. And it was a good atmosphere. I haven't seen an atmosphere like this for a long time. But the thing is, once we went 2-0 down. We went 2-0 down, but it was early, so the atmosphere was still there. The fans were singing the team on. And when we made it 2-1, that really got the crowd going. We all got going really, really loud. But we come out the second half and we conceded another goal. That killed it a bit. But we still wanted that goal to make it at least 3-2, and the crowd didn't stop singing. So it wasn't nowhere near the Brentford game. We didn't stop singing. No.
All right, fantastic. Listen, I want to know, Nick, put your mic on mute, please. I want to know from you guys. Actually, before we address what's going to happen, let's address the game. Why did we lose this game the way that we did? That's a question I'm going to pose to everyone, and I'm going to go in the order you guys entered the stream. So we'll go to Podfather. Podfather, why did we lose this game? What went wrong?
Well, I think it's a bunch of things. Obviously, you can't legislate for the Mendy mistake. You know what I mean? That wasn't a tactical error. But I felt like I thought the selection was a bit risky. I remember saying this, even to you guys yesterday, that you play Aspie on the left and you pretty much get nothing at all down that side. And then if Pulisic has a bad game, then which he did, that left side is completely null and void attacking wise. And usually they're not that strong on their right with because obviously they play what's his name, Valverde there, who's not even a winger, but he was able to get up and down quite easily, run past Aspie pretty much all night. And then whenever they were defending, he could drop back in the midfield, and they were outnumbering us. It was almost like they were playing like a 4 in midfield against our 3 with Mason. So even Mason dropping into midfield, which was our tactic, and because if you saw, Mason was always behind Kai, and then James was pushed up right high, and that actually played into their hands. So the whole first half, you have Vinicius Jr. just running at Christensen, and anybody who watches Real Madrid regularly will tell you that it's impossible to defend that guy one-on-one. I don't care who it is, whether it's Thiago Silva, Rudiger, James, whoever. You can't defend him one-on-one. You always have to have somebody else behind. In case he beats one, there's another person to stop him. So I don't know what was going on in the first half with our tactics, but it was completely off. They basically just told him, you don't come back, you don't defend, you just stay up there. Benzema kept on dropping into like a number 10 position. Thiago Silva like 2 or 3 times, didn't know whether to go with him, didn't know whether to stay with him. And that was their outlet. And the funny thing is, the best of thing is it's predictable. Like, this is not a team that has like 10 million ways to beat you. They literally have, a game plan of like 2 or 3 attacking options, and that's it. It's Modric with his passing, it's Benzema with his finishing, and it's Vinicius with his running. That's it. That's really all you have to worry about when you're playing Real Madrid. Yes, they have the experience, and once they go ahead defensively, they can do a job. They're not a great defensive team, but if you give any team 3 goals to defend, they're gonna do it because they have something to hold on to. You're solid. You take it back to the next leg. So I just thought tactically, especially that first half, we were all over the place. Jorginho hasn't played well for 2-3 months. But everybody wanted him in there to control the game and to be experienced. He was rubbish. Yeah, he had the assist, but there were so many times they just ran off him. Yeah, people told me that, oh, Kante is going to boss their whole midfield. Kante was taken off at halftime because he was ineffective. Yeah, he had that great tackle on Benzema in the first half, but he didn't do much. They were still passing again and breaking the press all the time. And their gameplay, their experience, and we were playing like we had to win the game in the first 20 minutes. It just didn't make any sense to me.
Yeah.
And we were running so hard at them, pressing, and they just pass it, boop, 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 and beat us. We really thought we were just going to be the same as last year, but it wasn't. It's totally different. You have to respect the opponent. This is the top team in European football history. We're talking about. We're not talking about just on bombs. It doesn't matter whether they're playing well now or it's a bad incarnation of them. On a European night, you don't need to win the tie in the first game. You just don't.
Yep.
0-0, 1-0, all of that. You take your time. But tactically, for me, if that whole first half was all down to Vinicius Jr. being left one-on-one with Christensen the whole time. Everybody wants to pile on Christensen, but I'm telling you right now, nobody can defend that guy one-on-one. Yeah,
That's a straight
you have to have 2 people on him. If he beats one, there's somebody else behind. Anybody who watched that team in La Liga regularly will tell you that. You don't play him one-on-one. You just don't.
Facts.
Yep. No. Spot on. I think the lack of control. Yo, Nick, keep your mic on mute, please. The lack of control.
No, I'm just
the lack of control that we had in the middle of the park, which I thought was going to be addressed with Kante and Jorginho. I mean, I thought Kante and Jorginho was the ideal holding midfielders for this game. Obviously, that wasn't the case. I think we took a risk, and I was for that with Aspilicueta playing out left. Again, that didn't pay off. Reece James, you could tell that he wasn't 100%. And that left us open in the middle of the park, and our defenders were not having a great day neither.
But Mo, why was
issues?
Mo, why was Rich James playing so high? It makes no sense.
He was taking more of a midfielder role rather than a wing back, and I think Christensen was compensating for that, and it looked like our backline was stretched. It wasn't.
Whose dog is that?
Say again?
Whose dog is that, man?
No, it's mine. It's mine.
Pods,
Sorry.
Pods,
It's mine. I'm just gonna say that but the thing was Vinicius Jr. If you can have Rich James going up, I think that was the whole point of dropping Mount into midfield so we could outnumber them. Yeah. So Rich James goes high, Mount plays almost like a number 10, and then he can drop into midfield. But if you're gonna do that, then Kante has to stay back. He has to sit. So because he's the only one who has pace that can even keep up with Vinicius Jr. Just like the way Henderson does if Trent goes forward, he always stays back and covers for him the whole time. It made no sense. Like Kante winning the ball and then just sprinting forward. Jorginho is the slowest guy. He can't help the defense. So anytime they get one-on-one, it's over. And the second half, people will say, "Oh, if we were better in the second half because James came back." They were 3-1 up. They didn't need to attack.
We weren't better. Exactly. Yeah, we were not playing better. It's just they took the foot off the gas and just sat back. That game tactically wasn't sound. Let me hear from I think it's Couch who came in next. I'm going to go Pod, Couch, Boogeyman. Bobby, Boogeyman. And then we'll hit Chris. So Couch, let me hear it.
Respect. Thanks for letting me get in here. Pod pretty much just blazed up the place. He had a lot to say there, and a lot of it made sense. Big up to you, Pod. Like a lot of that made sense. First half, bang on. Like I don't know why Chelsea were playing so cavalier. Like we were so high, and I've been saying this on my pod for a while now. Just the idea that Chelsea are playing way too aggressively, and we're not seeing the rewards for it either. We're pushing guys way up the pitch, and we're not
Couch,
seeing any benefit for it.
can you just reset your audio because it's very very unclear. There's a
Okay.
lot of background noise.
I'm using my headphones, so maybe I'll just go to the mic.
Please, yeah, thank you.
Is that better?
Yeah, that's perfect. Thank you.
Okay, cool. Yeah, so as I was saying, like I've been saying for a minute now that Chelsea just have been playing this like high line and not getting any rewards from it. And then we're at the exact opposite. We're actually getting punished because we're playing so high. I agree. Like I don't know why Reece James was so high. It made no sense to me. We had absolutely no cohesion. And if you compare what we did last year to what we do this year, you can see the stark differences. Like we used to defend so compact and then spring on the counter and then just use energy to get forward and whatnot. And we're just not doing that anymore. We look so spread open, like gaps of space for anyone to get into. Anyone. Like you could see Modric like running into space the way we were so exposed and open. And like you compare that to what we were last year, and it's a complete night and day scenario. That was one thing that was bothering me. We were just not ready to play a European tie. We were just way too open. And, we're talking about the Conte thing. We're talking about, Aspilicueta. We're talking about all these people. We're talking about Christensen. I mean, I'm not trying to blow my own horn here. Like, I'm just saying, you got to play the guys that are in form. Conte's been out of form. There's no reason for him to be playing. Thiago Silva came from overseas in Brazil. Whether or not he had a day off or not, he's coming from overseas. He's jet lagged. You play him in Brentford, and then you play him again in a huge European Cup tie. You know what I mean? Like he looks jaded and tired. And it's not just because he can't keep up with the play. It's because the split-second decisions that you need to make in games like this, he's not able to make them because he's a little jaded. So I'm not going to be lying. I'm going to put it out here right now. I'm going to put this on Tuchel. I think Tuchel made some tactical errors, not only with the way that we set up, but also the selection. Like I would have played Chalobah instead of Christensen. Christensen thinking about Camp Nou right now. His name is not focused on playing for Chelsea and winning for Chelsea right now. He's thinking about Camp Nou signing his contract. Play Chalobah. He's the next guy that's in line. He's going to be playing for us probably next year and going forward. Give him the opportunity. When we've given him the European nights, he's stepped up and risen to the occasion and played well for us in Europe. So give him that opportunity to carry on. Like there was no reason to play Christensen as far as I'm concerned. You look at the midfield, I said already, Conte's out of form. There's no reason for having him in the game. I said Kovacic is our best midfielder right now. He's a guy that comes in and controls the game. He blasts into the midfield. He gets forward, and he gives us something that we just did not have today. That to me was another error, another tactical error. You look at what was the other thing? Mason Mount, again, like I don't want to keep harping on about individual performances, but Mason Mount has not played a decent game for Chelsea in quite some time, and he continually gets the jog out time and time and time again. We're asking him to play, that sort of like hybrid winger midfielder role, come inside and, make the midfield three up. But if he does that and he's not giving us the intensity that we're used to seeing from him, what use is it? What benefit is of it? He's not giving us any thrust going forward. So these are the things that I'm seeing today. And like, I'm not surprised by the scoreline because a lot of what we saw today was just a jaded squad not fighting for each other. A lot of that. And like, of course, there's a lot of things that are happening off the pitch that may attribute to that.
What do you think of Mendy's performance?
Again, jaded. The guy's coming from playing in Africa. He has to fly back, plays on the weekend, doesn't play well there, and then he has to play again in a high stakes European tie. He's just jaded, man. Like, I don't think that. Again, like I've been saying this from before. I said it on my last pod. Actually, I don't trust this guy in possession. I don't think that he has the footwork and the composure on the ball to make the right decisions. And I hate to say that like it was proven right today because this is a big game. But like I don't trust him in possession. And when we play with the 4 at the back, it forces him to be in possession more often than not. I know we started with a 3 at the back, but as soon as we went to a 4, yeah, I'm just going to ramble on. I don't want to ramble on too much, but I really just think that this has come down to a lot of
in terms of Mendy, don't you think it was more like lack of concentration? Because he wasn't under pressure. I can understand if
I know,
was pressing you or they you have a bad back pass or whatever, but it just seemed like he just drifts off mentally.
But
and then he just played the easy ball, just clear.
Hold on. The thing is,
Pod, when do you make
Mendy's
those
issue.
mistakes though? When do you make those mistakes? When you're tired and
we,
jaded. That's when you
yeah,
make
and
those kind of
lack of
mental
focus.
errors.
The
No,
issue
which is
issue
why
here. Hold on, Pod.
yeah.
The issue with Mendy and his ball control or footwork is not really something that he can't do. It's the way that he handles it. He doesn't seem to make his decision quickly enough. Who shall I pass it to? Where am
That
I
too.
passing this ball to? Or how quickly I should get rid of this ball? He seems to hesitate, and that is what's costing us. When you hesitate, you reduce your time to act, and therefore you're gonna be making mistakes. Before I go to Bobby, we are going to be talking about the off the pitch things after. I want to address the game, and then we'll talk about the things that are happening off the pitch, because they are a big factor to why we performed the way we performed today. So, but first I want to address the on the pitch, then we'll go to off the pitch. And before I go to Bobby,
Can I
lads,
just say-
do me a favor. Just hold on. I'll let you finish off. Before I go to Bobby, lads, do me a favor and make sure you're hitting that like button. We are on 20 odd likes. Let's try to get close to 50 as soon as possible. And if you're new, subscribe to the Blue Lounge. Couch, finish up before I go to Bobby. Go on.
Yeah, I was just gonna say that, like as you say, that he dwells on the ball a little bit too long and invites the attackers to come at him, the defenders I seen. It also puts a lot of pressure on the defense, because when he's been put under pressure and he makes a wayward pass, they have to now compensate for his wayward pass, and it puts them under the pressure. They're not getting the ball where they want it with time to do something with it. They're not pressed. So it's just it's a chain of events really that started from him not moving the ball quickly and from him just, dwelling on the ball too long. I agree with you. I just think that a lot we should be playing with three at the back. We shouldn't be sort of varying our shape as much as we have the last like 2 or 3 matches. We're going from 4 at the back to 3 at the back to 4 at the back to 3 at the back in games. Those types of substitutions and changes in setup make it so hard for people to rely on their instincts on the pitch. Because when you're thinking you're in a 3 at the back set, you're like, okay, well, I know Thiago Silva's going to be there. I'm just going to pass it there. I don't even have to think about it. When you start thinking about, okay, well, no, we're now in a forward back. I have to play it over here. Those split seconds make huge differences when you're talking about European Cup ties, quarterfinals, Play what we did last year is we played one setup. Everyone knew what they had to do. Everyone knew. There was no questions about like where you needed to be on the pitch. You knew what you had to do. And now we're playing like 4 at the back, 3 at the back. We're playing with a number 10. We're not playing with a number 10. We're playing with wingers. All of that stuff contribute to us not being a cohesive side. And I think that that's what we're seeing right now.
Yeah, no, I agree. Too many changes are not. It's not necessarily a good thing. Let me go to Bobby. Bobby, welcome. Why did we perform so badly, Bobby? What's your take?
It's so hard for me to try and avoid going to the root cause, which takes us right to the beginning of the season. The squad in itself is not balanced, and the planning of the squad is revealed. I really agree with Couch Critic that, look, we're playing with a jaded squad, and there are multiple reasons for that. But as you say, we'll go on to the reasons afterwards. But what actually happened today on the field was just mistakes. I mean, mistakes that should never be. Mendy kicking out from the back, yes, it was an accident waiting to happen. We all knew this. That's one of the weaknesses of his game. His kicking out from the back, passing the ball out from the back, and his penalty stop saving. There are times when you're in that situation, all you have to do is just belt it out as a goalkeeper. Today, he made Thibaut Courtois look a better goalkeeper than him. And that's all down to him. So if tomorrow they're calling for the best goalkeeper in the world, he's just outdone himself, really, because his performance today and the previous match was bad. But that's the life of a goalkeeper. They go through these patches. It's very noticeable because of where they are on the pitch. And then suddenly when they find form, they look like world beaters again. Ultimately, today's failure was in Tuchel's tactics. You're right. He got it all wrong. Real Madrid actually came to hit us on the break. And in a way, they did that. The two-headed goals. Who would think we'd concede goals like that? I don't even want to talk about the third one. But they were playing to hit us on the break, and they did it very successfully. Now, why did they do it? Because at least they have finishers. Time and time again, Jorginho had the ability to put himself in a shooting position. He wouldn't because he couldn't. Same with Kante. And I agree that, our midfield really needs looking at. When we had a combination of Loftus Cheek and Kovacic, we looked more sprightly, but by then the game had run away from us because Kovacic also struggles to shoot from distance. It's really unfortunate that we wasted £97 million on a striker when we didn't have to. If we really needed to spend that money, we could have spent it on a midfielder, and we wouldn't have had to spend that much on a midfielder anyway, because we had the choice of a Chomeni at that time, who would have been far more cheaper than anything we may be forced to pay for him this summer. It's unfortunate. The game is not over. Remember, it's going to be very difficult, but it's not over yet. The way Real Madrid was celebrating, it shows they were afraid of us. The way they played, it showed they're afraid of us. I just think we've given them this game. Can we get back? I think we can. If we play like we can and get a goal, get another goal, I think they're just going to fall apart. But will we do that? Not on this form.
I think at 2-1, everything's in the balance. Everything is in the balance. But at 3-1, and this is why that Mendy mistake is so crucial, because I think it has totally changed the mood, the impression, the hopes. I mean, us going to the Bernabeu, 1 goal down, is different than going to the Bernabeu 2 goals down. And I think
Well, I,
see, as a mistake, mistakes happen, but how costly is it? And I think it's very, very costly.
it's very costly. I mean, I hear you. If we were going there to play on a level playing field, I'll say, right, let's go for it. But Chelsea are going there to play our own government, to play UEFA, to play the match officials, and to play a very, very partisan crowd. It looks impossible. In fact, it probably is. That's our problem. If it was a level playing field, I think we'll be up for the fight. But it's never been fair for us for a long time. And that's the one thing I don't want us to ignore here today, because there have been factors that have worked against this team and probably are as much to play with the form of the players now than anything else.
All right, all right. Thank you, Bobby. Um, I'm asking everyone the same question, so I'll ask the same question to Boogeyman. Why did Chelsea lose today?
Hey, thanks for having me. I think it's more down to the lack of concentration. I mean, I understand Thiago coming back from Brazil and all those things, but again, Christensen today was not man marking Benzema. You cannot have Benzema in your between your in your defense line and not mark him. You need to mark him. That's the simple thing to do. You mark him. I mean, he's mobile. He's a drawing defend in the midfield, but as soon as he points his nose in your box, you have to mark him. That is, even if you notice the first goal that he scored, Jorginho can keep up with Benzema pace, and you can see Christensen and Reece both cannot talk to each other. They both run into Vinicius instead of one marking Benzema. Who doesn't know who is the most dangerous striker in the world right now? We know it is Benzema. Why do you run away from him? One has to stay with him, and that was Christensen's job. And the other thing is Tuchel. I understand the fact that he pulled Aspi. For me, it was the wrong selection at the beginning, but If you notice that the Real at the beginning, we all see it. They just want to hit that on counter, and it was simple that when that ball leave that midfield, they're only looking for Vinicius. Where he is, where that kid is. They put the ball to Vinicius. They try to isolate the Christensen all the time. So where was Tuchel? Tuchel should have just read that and just say, okay, James, calm down a little and help Christensen with Vinicius. You cannot allow Vinicius to be one-on-one and have 10 meter space between him and Christensen. How are you going to even take the ball off the kid? It's not possible. Either you mark him, you don't give him any centimeter, or you two people take the entire space away from him. I just don't know what Tuchel was doing. He's just there churning, showing his frustration. Who cares about your frustration? Just read the game, and so we can win the game. That's all we are here. We all can see it. So, anyways, Ruben come in, Ruben take 100 time to control the ball, like 100 touches to control a simple ball. We just control the ball. You've been playing since you were what, 8 years old now. Like take the ball and run with it. Nothing just worked today. Mendy, I don't want to talk about. I want that guy to be benched now because enough is enough with Mendy. The first goal, the Mendy of last year will take that ball away. Will at least prevent the first goal. The third goal, let's not talk about it. It's just crazy. Rudiger today was not. Our entire backline was just shaking. Mason Mount, come on, enough with this run pressing. Come on, you need to show something more. Control the ball, open your eyes, and send the ball. Like do us
Facts.
a little bit of Ericsson. Like we don't have to always be the one pushing, battling or attacking. No, control the ball, left, right, shift the ball, change the direction of the game. Do stuff like that. You're still young. I think the Mason Mount we saw in how do you call that country again? In Holland when he was playing for those
Vitesse.
yellow and black team. He
Vitesse.
was doing those things. I've seen those things in him. He controlled the ball in the middle, look at left to right, and whoever he shift the ball, just all over the place. He was showing all those Ericsson movement. Now he's completely dead. What's going on with Mason? He need to wake up. He need to do something. The only player I saw today was Harvard. Other than that, all our players, no one seemed to even want to play, or I don't know, or they out of it, or lack of concentration. They all feel stuff just get to all of them at this point. They cannot focus. We used to be compact. There is no space. There used not to be that much space between us. Today, we just running with the ball, no control. The one touch is not working. I don't know. And then we bring Lukaku in. Let's not talk about it. Lukaku should have put us back to that game. At least 3-2. What was he doing?
Yeah,
97 million pound players. Listen, I'm not sure. That's all I can say.
Lukaku. Look, I mean, I'm not making excuses, but Lukaku did get a couple of good opportunities straight away. And was he still, warming? Was he still, warming up? Was he still trying to?
We need to stop with warming.
Yeah. I know. World class striker, £100 million striker. You'd expect
28 years old or 29 years old.
Yeah, what Benzema's 34, and he's doing the madness. So it is what it is. Let me go to Chris.
What did Pulisic bring to the team today? Nothing.
You know what? The selection baffled me. You see, picking those players, I can understand picking those players. But you are the manager. You know what we don't know. You know what we don't know. You've seen them in the training field. You've seen their abilities, their current form. So when you come to pick the team, it's not like me or you, Boogeyman, picking the team based on recent performances. No, he's picking the team based on training, based on mentality, morale. The guys that were on that pitch did not have the right mindset. Seriously, I agree with you about Mason Mount, and I agree with you about Pulisic, and I agree with you about Havertz. He is the only one who had the correct mindset on that pitch today. But again, for me, that's on Tuchel. Tuchel should know better when it comes to selecting his team and selecting his formation. The fact that he had to make so many changes, it shows me that he got it wrong, and he tried to fix it, and it was too late because in the space of a few minutes we were two goals down. Lads, before I go to Chris again, I know you're not happy, and that's why you're not hitting the like button. but it's not my fault. It is not my fault. I guarantee you, it is not my fault that we lost tonight. So don't take it out on me. Hit that like button. I'd really appreciate that. Let me go to Chris. Chris, hope you're feeling better, my man. Welcome to the stream.
Yeah, I'm feeling a lot better than I did yesterday, mate. Well,
Good.
I mean, I feel better health-wise, but watching that
Yeah.
result tonight, I'm absolutely annoyed. I'm frustrated, and most importantly, disappointed. I mean, for me personally, Tuchel for me tactically tonight was absolutely horrendous. I mean, I don't know what he was doing with the selection. I mean, it's a Champions League quarter-final, first leg. What are you doing? What are you doing, mate? You should be be tactically on point. For me, individual errors as well. Mendy for the third goal. What are you doing? I mean, Benzema, he's what, the best striker in the world. He's carrying Real Madrid and you're giving a ball away like that. Come on, man. You've got your concentration away off. Christensen, go to Barcelona. Honestly, go to Barcelona. Because defensively, you're not at me. You need to go. Mason Mount's been terrible for the last few games. Personally, Kovacic should have played tonight ahead of Kante. Because put it this way, if you put Real Madrid under pressure, they're going to fold. They're going to fold. Real Madrid ain't perfect. Our Real Madrid are not perfect, and we showed tonight, that you can do it. Havertz, we put pressure on it. Jorginho, fantastic assist. Havertz scores. Lukaku, we should have scored. I mean, the tie's not over. The tie isn't over, but it's going to be difficult. And as you said, Mo, going in 2-1 down, you kind of have that bit of belief. But having that one more goal deficit to be 3 goals down, two goals down instead of the 1 goal down, then it's a bit like, I mean, can we score 3 goals? I mean, judging by the last 2 performances against Brentford and tonight, can we? No, I don't think we can. I mean, the tie's not over, but in my opinion, we're not going to go through if we perform like we have. We've conceded 7 goals in the last 2 games, 4 against Brentford, disgrace, and 3 tonight when it realistically should have been 2, and we should have scored more. So, lads, I'm disappointed. I'm not angry. I'm just really, really frustrated with the lack of tactical knowledge from Tuchel tonight. I mean, I understand what's going on in his personal life, and I know you're going to talk about it later on, but you should be getting it spot on tonight, mate. And the performances for me, and also Todd Bowley was there tonight, I think, as well. So I wonder what he's thinking. Anyways, I'm frustrated and annoyed.
Yeah. No, we're definitely going to talk about the fact that Todd Bowley attended the game and the Ricketts thought they'll leave London at lunchtime. So we'll talk about that in a minute. But let's complete the match analysis. Max Burton.
I'm not surprised that Ricketts left at lunchtime. I think they went to Brentford, didn't they? They saw that shambles.
They watched. They didn't actually watch the Brentford game. They had people watching it for them. They went to the women's game, I believe, and then they went to the women's game. They had people watch the Brentford game, and then they were here today, but they decided to leave at lunchtime, which is a little bit strange. I mean, Champions League quarter-final, Chelsea, Real Madrid. You'd wanna watch that. I mean, you'd wanna watch that. I mean, Todd Bowley apparently arrived for the game. Just to watch the game.
Todd Bowley walked into the stadium with the fans.
I know, I saw that. Yeah. He was getting his ticket checked and all of that. So, you know what? I'm warming up to this guy, and let's just hope that things go in that direction, because when you put the 2 bids together, as far as I'm concerned, there's no comparison. But anyway, we'll come back to that in a minute. Let's just finish off talking about the game. Max Burton. Welcome to the stream. I hope you're doing well, because you just watched the game. So I hope you're feeling better than you were an hour ago. So let me know why you think Chelsea lost this game, my man.
First of all, good evening, Mo. Good evening, the rest of the panel. Boogie, Dennis, Bobby is on pod. Chris, how you guys are all doing well.
Yeah.
Oh no, it's not pod. This is on.
It's pod. It's pod, Chris.
Okay. Yeah. So, what can I say about today's performance? It wasn't what I expected. Last year, we played the near perfect game against Real Madrid, home and away. The only thing what let us down last year was our finishing. I don't know what we were doing today. Why were we playing so high up? This is 2 legs. It's like Thomas Tuchel thought it was a one-legged tie, not a two-legged tie. You know, we meant to pace ourselves over the 2 legs. We had such a high line. We were like Liverpool with a high line today. And Vinicius Junior and people like that, they thrive on space behind. Last year, they only had 2 shots in both legs. I think Benzema, or 3 shots, was it? Benzema scored that goal, and they had a couple of shots. They had 3 shots over the 2 ties. This time they had 3 shots in the first half, I think, alone. Christensen, I don't know. As I said, his head's already in Spain, I think. His positioning was terrible. Okay, Reece James could have helped him out a bit more, but his positioning he took up was just awful. He was in no man's land, really, for both the goals. But, you know, what we saw today in Benzema is a world-class striker we've lacked since Diego Costa. We haven't got. He scored 2 near impossible headers. Lukaku, when he comes on, has 2 simpler headers, and he puts them past the post. And that, we paid £95 million for a striker to score on nights like this. So you spend 95, even at 34, I'd suppose prefer to spend 90 million on Benzema than 95 million on Lukaku. It's just. I've been one of his biggest supporters, as you know. So when he can't turn up on nights like this, then it's worrying. I just don't. I think the tactics. I agree with all you guys. What you're saying about the tactics, we got them totally wrong. We were outnumbered in the midfield area, and they were just playing around us for fun at points. Kante wasn't really in the game. Jorginho, I don't know, and. Thiago Silva, I agree with you guys a lot. He looked a bit jaded. Aspilicueta project on the left, it didn't work. It allowed Valverde to create another man in midfield because he didn't have no one to worry about going the other way. Our left side was anonymous today, wasn't it? Because Pulisic, when I was watching it with Zane, he didn't even realise that Pulisic was playing. I said, "Yeah, Pulisic, is he playing?" Because the referee, I think, the commentator in the first half hardly mentioned him. He just wasn't in the game. So and that's the thing when we have these big games. Sometimes some of these players go missing, and like. Boogeyman, don't agree with him a lot, but this time I agree with quite a lot of what he had to say today. Kai Havertz was the only one you could see he was putting in that effort, and he was the only one who looked like he was in company with this Real Madrid team. This Real Madrid team, look, we although they scored those 3 goals, when we put them under pressure, we created chances. When it's the second half alone, we had about 5 chances that we could have scored from. We had Ziyech should have done better towards the end with that shot chance. I said they do 2 Lukaku chances, especially the second one. He's got to put one of those away. And we had a couple of, Mason Mount had a good shot and Reece James. So we could have gone away 3-2 in this game. But I'm seeing something in the chat which I don't like, where a couple of people say that Thomas Tuchel said that the game's over. We're 3-1 down. The game's not over. It's difficult, like Bobby said, but the game is not over. We score the first goal. I hope we don't go gung ho. We just have to keep it still solid. If we score that first goal and we keep it at 1-0 for a period, anything can happen. Remember, our saving grace is that the away goals don't count. We're saying we don't like the away goals, but this may be in our favour now. So if we score 1 goal, hold on for a bit, get them nervy. We score a goal towards the end. All of a sudden, it's 3-3. It's difficult, but it's still doable. So I don't want this defeatist attitude, unless Thomas Tuchel's just playing sort of being gamesmanship and everything else. But the players have got to go with the attitude that they're still in with a tie. We are the Champions League holders. We don't want to give it up with a whimper. We've got to go to the Bernabeu with some self-belief, thinking that we can still win this tie. And anything is possible.
I just think we got to be better in the final third. Like even that second.
Sorry,
I was just going to say
we had 3 Chelsea managers there tonight. We had Conte, Ancelotti, and Tuchel, which is interesting. I mean, I saw Thierry Henry. I saw quite a few celebrities watching the game. Interesting
back.
that the Ricketts didn't hang about. Lads, I want to give you all 10 minutes to discuss the game, and then I want to discuss the future of Chelsea in this tournament, and then we'll discuss off the pitch issues. So I've heard everyone's reaction to the game. Does anyone want to add anything to the performance today before we move into the second part, and that is our future in the tournament? Does anyone want to add anything, or are you guys content with what you've said already?
Yeah. No, I don't know. I don't know if my first ramble covered the fact that even in the final 30 minutes of the game, where we were actually in the ascendancy, when we got into the final third, did anyone else notice the fact that we had absolutely no idea what to do with the ball? We had a line of five, play with a line of five up top. Then behind them, it was Kovacic and Ruben Loftus-Cheek. And they just take turns recycling the possession. Like, there was nothing, we weren't making any runs off the ball. Like, the fact that we were so cavalier, pushing all those guys forward and not getting any results. It's like you're taking so many chances in the final third by pushing all these guys forward and not getting any sort of payoff whatsoever.
The other thing,
you know what I mean? It was just so nerve-wracking.
Yeah. When we're pushing them down, Modric was pretty much a left back or something. Can someone just shoot, take a shot? What are we? I just don't understand. Ruben, with your big legs.
Literally, if you watch, there's a good 15-minute spell where the entire front line was like our left back, then we had our left winger, then we had our strikers, and then we had our right back and our right winger, and they were all just in a line right on top of the 18. And then it was just Ruben and Kova passing the ball around to each other. No one's taking a chance. Nobody's making a darting run to getting behind or anything like that. It's just we're just standing there passing the ball around. I'm like, what is going on here? Why are we taking such a big risk and not going full force? Yeah, go ahead.
Bonglahor was right then, wasn't he? And he says that we just pass for passing sake and don't do anything with the ball. So that's not like that. That's how we've been playing for a long time. Anyway, there's nothing new to our play.
We just pass, Max, because we can't. We lack the ability up front. The only person with a finishing ability and the ability to vary, to vary his threat up front is Havertz. Lukaku's a clown. Pulisic, occasionally gets a few good touches, but he struggles for power. So does Mount. Jorginho can't shoot. Kovacic is brilliant. He gets all the way up there, but he can't shoot. And that's the problem. And all of a sudden, Ruben can't shoot either, which is the one thing that surprises me.
Exactly. What is that about?
Tell me what you guys think about the referee tonight.
He was awful. Yeah, I have a rant for that referee. Terrible. The referee, he was the same referee we had, I'm not sure if you guys know, when we lost 3-0 to Bayern Munich, who sent Alonso off. We've never won with this referee. And for me, my biggest rant for him was when we had that, who was it, Valverde? No, who went down?
It was Valverde.
Nacho or Valverde or whoever it was. How did it wasn't a head injury?
Yeah.
It wasn't a head injury. We were on the attack. He's got no. Doesn't he know the rules? Doesn't the boy go? Or either that, or he's just being corrupt. I don't know, because the rules. There's nothing in the rules to say that you blow up for cramp. The guy's cramp. He's blown up for cramp. And
there was a VAR handball, completely ignored.
Oh yes, that one as well. Yeah. And the one where we the defender knocked it out of play and he gave a goal kick rather than a corner kick.
Yeah,
the Brazilian boy. Yeah, he was awful. He was shocking. And do you remember that 50-50 as well with Alonso, with Azpilicueta and Carvajal? That was a 50-50. If anything, I thought that Carvajal was the more aggressive one than Dave, and he just gave a free kick to them. It's shocking. But so that's not the reason we lost. But
Can I ask a quick question? Do you think the referees have instruction to kick us out because of all those Abramovich being involved in, or whatever you want to talk about it? He will
Yes.
just
We'll get
It's
to that.
looking
We'll
that
get
way.
to that. We'll
It's
get to
looking
that.
that
We'll
way.
get to that. Yeah. Let's we'll talk about off the pitch in just a second.
Well,
Is
in,
it
ter-
is
in
it
terms of the game,
is
in
it,
terms of shooting,
yeah,
yeah,
go on.
I like I'm as frustrated with anybody like when I watch us play and I see we don't shoot, because for me a lot of that, you know, a lot of that comes from coaching. You know, I think if it's something that can be worked on in training, like we see their shooting drills, we know they're capable of hitting the ball, but when it comes to the gameplay, it seems like possession is the number one key thing on our plate, and it's about almost like walking the ball into the goal. You know, so I don't think it's a matter of none of these players can shoot. I don't think anybody in our team is
I
like a
disagree with you.
top level long
I agree.
striker.
It's been
Yeah,
like that since
Kai
since
Havertz
Amazon
takes a
left.
lot of shots today. Did you notice
Yeah,
it?
but
Most of them
Max,
were blocked, but he
no, but
took a
Max,
lot of shots today.
if
Kai
you
Havertz.
if you look at the players who score from outside the box, it tends to be the same players. It's not like a variety of players. Like you get same players like Ward-Prowse, like Coutinho, like Lampard. It's not generally the team that just get a lot of long strikers. So sometimes it's about the player you have, and you can just have that one player that just changes your whole dynamic in the way that you can play. And you can have that guy who can take shots from distance. You can have a Ronaldo, you can have a Lampard,
Yeah,
or you
but
can have,
you're
a
contradicting
Drogba.
yourself.
But
What
we
you
We
don't
said.
haven't
have
got
any of those
anyone. We haven't
players.
got
I
anyone.
wouldn't trust any of them
But we
to
have
take long shots.
Ziyech is the only one, but he did a couple. But I don't know. He went through a clutch where he started to shoot from distance. But he's
Yeah.
probably the only one I think who we got who can shoot. But he's not really from the pivot role. There's none of them can do it. You know.
Yeah.
Kovacic has done it once in every 50 years. He did it against Liverpool, so we have to wait another 10 years, I think, for him to score a goal like that.
Yeah,
All
it just
right.
comes down to, like, again, an
Is it
unbalanced squad. We don't have guys in the midfield that can do the things that we want them to
Couch?
do.
Start.
And
You can
yeah,
start me
sorry,
off on the
go ahead.
next segment. You can start me off on the next segment, Couch.
What?
Is it
Sure.
over, or do we have a chance to claw this back in the second leg?
I mean, we always have a chance. Like, it's not the fact that it's an insurmountable lead. It's the fact that we're not in form. Like, that's what we're talking about right now. We're basically relying on the fact that we know the performances that on their day they can put in. You know, like Conte on his day is the best midfielder in the world, but when he's not in form, you see what you see. You know what I mean? And I don't know. I really think that it's not over. The tie's not over, but we have to see a return to the Chelsea that we know. And whether or not we can do that with the backdrop of everything that's happening around the club right now, the fact that we haven't really assembled or locked down a preferred style of play. Like, when was the last time you saw Chelsea press effectively? When was the last time you seen, like, Mason Mount, just steam into a tackle and win it? Like, these are the things that do they have the energy to do these things right now? We got another game on the weekend, then we got another midweek game against Real Madrid. Like, where are we going to get the rest? Where are we going to get the ability to recover with all the noise that's around the club right now to put in a performance that will turn around a game at the Bernabeu? Like, it's a lot to consider right now. It's not like you're going to, like, Olympic Stadium or whatever. You're going to the Bernabeu,
Again,
I think it's gonna take a near perfect game. I think it's going to take us having luck on our side. Maybe they get someone
We're
sent off
capable of that,
or
right?
an early penalty or something like that. Their team is not like I said, it's not the Real Madrid of old, but you've given them something to hold on to, and they're at home. So literally, they can lose the game. And
Militao
still
is
go
missing.
through.
Militao is
Sorry?
missing next game as well. Militao will be
That's
missing
probably a
next
So
game.
good thing for them.
what we do,
He is,
we injure.
but it's not going to be as bad for them if they're not really attacking, because they know they can just sit back and counter. So then they're not really going to come out. So it's going to be down to us to break them down.
Injure Benzema in the first 10 minutes, and then that's it. We've got a chance.
And the thing about it, Mo, is that do you trust these Chelsea players to get 3 chances and take all 3? Let's say we only had 3 chances at the Bernabeu, which is conceivable because it's away from home. Because if you look at our away performances in Champions League, it's not amazing. Like we often just take our chances and get the job done. So are we going to trust this team to take those 3 chances?
I disagree.
Disagree. Remember last season? Last season we should have had 5 at the Bernabeu.
Yeah. That was their training ground where there was like a typhoon before the game started, and the whole game was chaos.
I'll tell you,
typhoon today.
We go to Bernabeu, we score 1 goal in the first 5 minutes. They'll be shaking.
That's what I said. If we get that first goal, the first goal is vital. If we get that first goal next week,
that's it.
Aye,
Like,
Boogie, this is
then
Real
we're still in the
Madrid.
game.
This is Real Madrid. They will be shaky
that
after
was,
Wimbledon.
they will shake. They're not
It doesn't
good.
matter. The
They will
thing
shake.
when they won 4-0, that was at Bernabeu. Barcelona when they won 4-0 the other day. I know. That's why I said we injured Benzema in the first 10 minutes, and then that's it.
The reason I don't think they will shake.
You said something.
Yeah, I was gonna say the reason I don't think they'll be shaking is even if they concede one goal, they're like, fine, we're still going through. Concede another goal, fine, we're still going to extra time. It's not on a knife edge that 2-1 would have been, or even a 1-0 or whatever. This is 3-1. So they can
There's
literally
no away goal. Don't forget that. If we score one goal, they're going to be talking to each other. Okay, yeah.
Listen, it's hard. It's going to be hard. It's going to be hard, but come on, guys. We just don't go with that defeatist. I don't like going in with a defeat. We've got 90 minutes.
Max, it's not defeated.
Hold on. Let me hear from Bobby. Go ahead,
I
Bobby.
just want to add one thing that's real to all of this. Our game today was awful, horrendous, but our game today also showed that Real Madrid they were quite fortunate today. They really were. And I am 100% certain that should we get to the Bernabeu and score first, especially if we score early, they will be panicked. And if we have a good game, we can go on and win that game. I mean, win the game. Because they will be panicked and start doing silly things, just like we did silly things here
That's
today.
right. If we have a perfect game like we did the other day when we played them in last season, that was like a perfect game, wasn't it? Apart from I say perfect, our finishing wasn't great, but we sort of managed them and they couldn't get out. And I said, okay, it's their training ground. But last season we had a lot of good games in Europe against all those. So it's going to be difficult, but
it's just
I know it's last
season,
season, but
and like we haven't had those performances this year. That's what I'm saying. Like it's not that we can't pull it together. It's the fact that we're not playing in form right now. And then on top of that,
we were good before.
So we can just turn it because, like, you know what I thought. You know what I thought in the pregame when everyone was talking about, Conte, he turns on for these games and these guys turn it on and this guy's going to be good because he knows what it means. You can't just turn on form. It doesn't just come on and come off and come on and come off. You have to find your form.
What I'm saying.
So that's what I'm saying.
What I'm saying is, since they sell the Abramovich stuff, the Ukraine war stuff, that's why we were not performing properly. Before that,
we can't say that because we won 5 games in a row.
That's a huge factor.
But we won 5 games in a row when it first came.
But the performance was not there. Like that's
it was since the international wasn't
it more
Max,
since his wife left him? His wife left him and things kind of went south. No,
this goes back all the way to the Club World Cup. We haven't played well, man. Let's be honest. We've had a real good run. We've had a real good run in that 8-game unbeaten thing that we had. Middlesbrough, was it Nottingham Forest or wherever?
We played well against Liverpool in the cup final.
Hold on.
We did, but we lost.
Couch.
The games that we won weren't against anybody to write home about, to be honest.
Yeah, but Brentford are nothing to write home about, so you can't. You have to play.
5 consecutive wins. Hold on. 5 consecutive wins. Was it 5 or 6? I think it was 6. 6 consecutive wins, and then we lose to Brentford in a very, very embarrassing way. It wasn't like we just lost. No, we were properly beaten, and then we lose in crazy fashion again tonight. Does the fact that his personal life seems to be unsettled right now, and I'm talking about Tuchel, does that have an impact? Apparently it's been, he's been having problems personally in his personal life for a few months, but he's now officially split up with his missus, along with everything that's happening within the club, all the changes, all the board meetings, all the questions, all the uncertainty that is currently surrounding Chelsea Football Club. Has it now kind of hit home? Has it affected us in that way?
I'm going to be facetious here, but you could argue that like being separated from your life should elevate you. So elevate you and like release stress.
not after 13 years of marriage,
man out there, you feel me, yeah?
Listen. I got to say something.
I'm going to say nothing in case my wife is watching. I'll keep quiet.
Yeah. I've gone through 2 divorces. I know what it's like. It's not easy. It's not easy. It does affect you. It does affect you. Even if it's something that is supposed to relieve certain stresses, it's not easy. It's not easy. So I think it's had an impact. But you'd think Tuchel is a professional and wouldn't allow it to have too much of an impact on his team. I don't think it's a similar scenario, because I know people were talking about Kepa when his missus left him and whatnot. I don't think it's a similar scenario, because the performance and the role that you have is one that you do. When you use computer terminology here, you do it offline. It's not on an online kind of thing. You get your players, you train them, you tell them what to do, and then they have to go out there and perform. So it's like you're performing with that kind of stress on your.
I think when it comes to the divorce thing, first of all, we don't know how long. Usually things take longer than 6 months. So if they've had issues, it's probably been going on for a year.
It doesn't matter. When it becomes public, it becomes something else. Let me just put it that way.
No, it does. It does.
True. I don't know how much credit we should give to this thing. I mean, I'm somebody that's been through that some years ago, and added to that, a very, very traumatic child custody situation, which any man would know who has been in that situation is extremely loaded against you and extremely financially debilitating. But when I went to work, I was able to focus on a very high pressure job. In fact, part of that was even a relief for me to think of something else. So I don't know, all this, my wife, we're in an age where we give so much kudos to these things. I don't see Tuchel as that kind of man. Yes, it's a trauma, yes, but I think he is a professional, and he will focus on his job at the time of his job. And when he needs to deal with those things, he will deal with them. I think we have to divide that. Life is full of all sorts of things. Nobody comes to work with or does their job in a life situation that's a bed full of roses. If you do, you're very lucky, but I can't think of many. Everybody has some kind of problem that is nagging in the background.
If I'm Tuchel, I'm telling the players, listen. Some of you are old, some of you are young, but Champions League, a lot of great players have never won Champions League. Never get to a final, never get to win it. I don't care what's going on off the field, what's going on with the club, what's going on in your personal life, what's going on with your girlfriend, what's going on with your brother, what's going on with your family. This is a once in a lifetime opportunities. We don't get to finals like this. Yeah, I mean, like Chelsea got three finals in 20 years. Yeah, it's not. It's not something that you let go by, and everything I've heard as well from ex-professionals is the field is your safe place. You get on there, you forget everything that's going on. The people that were drug addicts, people that were alcoholics, people that their life was in tatters, and they go on the pitch.
Why are you bringing my life
Maradona, this one, that one, yeah. So I don't want to hear any excuses.
I come from a generation, and I'm sure Max, maybe Mo, can relate to this. We were taught to suck it up quite a bit. Now, there were some negative sides to that, of course, but believe me, I believe there were far more positives than negatives. I mean, now we get too emotional.
Too many snowflakes around these days.
Yeah.
People taking their advice from Facebook, Instagram,
and guys, let's not give the players an excuse as well, because
exactly.
So saying, because of this or because of that. No, because we weren't good enough on the day. That's why we lost.
Yeah, but I really think that this comes down.
Boys,
Tuchel should be holding this L though. He's the one that should be holding it.
I want to listen to Tuchel. I want to listen to Tuchel.
I don't want to listen to him.
I want to listen to him. All right. Wow. Let's give Tuchel 10 minutes of our time. Let's give him 10 minutes of our time.
Okay.
And if you're getting cornflakes ads, I apologize in advance.
Okay, good evening, everybody. There's translation available. If you haven't got a headset from the side, please get one. There's Spanish and English channels available. If you'd like a question, raise your hand. We'll start with James Robertson in the middle.
Hi, Thomas. Do you still feel this tie is very much alive?
No, not at the moment, no.
Expand.
Sorry?
Could you expand on that?
What is expand?
Why it's not alive?
Same more.
Why it's not alive? Because we have to find our level back. I don't know where it is, but since national break, the first half is a repetition of the second half against Brentford and in a quarter final against Real Madrid. So far of our level in absolutely everything what the game demands. That you cannot expect a result from this kind of performance. And we have to get the things ready for Saturday and don't think about Bernabeu today, because on Saturday we face Southampton, and if we continue to play like this, we will not get a point there.
Nizar.
I know you had quite a lot of problems in that first half, but you made 2 substitutions. What were you trying to do, and what were you saying to your team as well?
Changed the formation and wanted to turn things around, because I think personally there was enough where we could hurt them, but we were so far off our level in everything what the game demands, tactically, individually, in shape, in stiffness, within challenges that we tried to play in a new formation, and then killed the game off with a big mistake after 3 minutes.
Were Andreas and N'Golo particularly at fault for the first half? Or?
No, it was a tactical change, and we it's like always. It's never on one player, never on 2 players. It's on all of us. I'm included in this, and like I said, individually we lost shape and sharpness, and obviously in the national break we don't look the same. I don't have really explanation, because before we won, we come from a long winning streak, from being very, very competitive, and first half was by far not good enough.
Simon Johnson.
Thomas, you won the Champions League last season based on your defence and keeping clean sheets. Is it just down to mistakes, or is there something more different from this season to last season?
I don't know. If we have the same talk like 5 days ago, we will still speak about the same defensive performance. But since 5 days, it's obviously 7 goals conceded. I don't know. We did not change nothing, not in the approach, not in the lineups, not in the system. So I don't think there is a deeper reason for it. And it's alarming, because it's like in two games 7 goals. But nothing has changed.
Somebody?
Hi, Thomas. Romelu Lukaku's headed chance, how important was that in the tie as a whole?
Very important, I mean, instead of, if you have, there are no more away goals, so if you have like a 1 goal deficit, or maybe even a draw, and you saw the momentum was back when we scored. It was a beautiful goal to score. And the momentum was back, and we had the chance to even equalize. There were a lot of spaces, a lot of chances, but the individual decisions today, even after the 2-1, is simply today far from our level and far from our standards. And to come back with a chance like this, a 3-2. I think we had 16 shots or 11 shots, and 16 shots in the second half alone. And of course, goals are crucial. We didn't get them, and we gave a third one away in a way which is this is simply impossible. That then we cannot demand that from ourselves to turn things around if this is our foundation to go into the second game.
Okay, gentleman, Spanish gentleman.
Hi, Thomas. Keon Sabani from Managing Good. Just wondering if the Christensen sub was a direct response to Vinicius creating danger in the first half. And if so, do you think Reece James kind of playing deeper in the second half, does that impact your offensive ability?
Yeah, it's my mistake.
Okay, we can do 2 more. Sammy Mockbell and Gary Cottrell to finish. Sammy?
So, do you feel that over the last couple of games that the issues surrounding at the club at the moment are seeping in and affecting the players?
No.
And on top of that, do you feel that the schedule that you've you've spoken about in the past is finally starting to catch up with the squad?
I was a bit shocked when I saw like the amount of games we played in 2022. I just I saw it the last games, the last days, and we were the team with Liverpool to play by far more matches than anybody else in England and of course in Europe. And don't forget, everybody else has 5 changes, and we had like in 22, I think like, I don't know, 3 extra times on top of it, I think. So yeah, it is a bit worrying, and the schedule is not our friend in this season, and we struggle from it. But like also your first question, we can still play better, because it was, I think that we found what we could have found in the first half. We can exploit these possessions better. We can play much better. We can hurt Real Madrid much more. We have to, but we were far off our level, and that is very, very disappointing. That because it's a night where you need to be spot on. I mean, you ask about the circumstances in the change of ownership. I see no difference to the last weeks, and the last weeks we performed. So I will not accept it as an excuse, because for the same reasons than I said before. And of course, it's the moment now to find an end to this period of conceding goals and losing games very, very quickly, because we are in absolutely crucial time of the season.
Okay, last question, Gary Cottrell.
Tonight he was emotional coming into the room after a defeat, so I thought it was the best time to answer questions. If you say the tie's not alive, go there, second leg, 2 goals behind. Does it send the wrong message to your players and the right message to Real Madrid?
If you wanna put it on this sentence, put it on this sentence. Honestly, I worry more about Southampton than about Real Madrid in the next week. There's my focus. So today, is this alive? No. With this performance, no. Because first of all, we need to play Southampton, and if we don't get our heads and legs straight and our mentality right, we will not win in Southampton, and and then this tie is not alive. If things change, maybe, but. How many clubs in worldwide football won with what we need? 3 goals difference. How often did this happen? So maybe it's only realistic to answer like this, and should not get fatalistic and think like I give the wrong message. I mean, let's be honest. After we sit here after 15 minutes, so we are competitive, and we need to find our competitive spirit, our quality, and then we can talk.
Okay, thank you, everybody.
All right. Wow. Intense. That was an intense press conference.
Getting frustrated about it.
Yeah, but listen. I think Tuchel, as always, even under pressure, he seems to find a way to give the right answer. He isn't saying we're out of the tie, as in we're not going to try, as in we will not be giving it 100%. But he's saying we need to focus, we need to change before we can realistically look at this tie in a positive manner. Because based on what we did tonight, what we did against Brentford, we're out of the tie, realistically speaking. Therefore, he is trying to put the pressure onto his boys, his team, because he guaranteed that every one of them is going to be watching that press conference and going to be listening to the gaffer talking in that way. They're going to be seeing how upset, how angry he is, because you can tell the man was angry. So he is giving a message to his boys, as well as potentially playing mind games with Real Madrid. However, I am saying this. The way that he is looking at the team, the way that he is looking at this performance, he is just as angry as we are. He is just as frustrated as we are, and he knows he's got to make some changes. However, he is putting it on the players rather than putting it on himself. He is talking about.
He took it too. He took it too.
He took it,
but the Reece James thing.
Yeah, but no. He said it's my mistake, my fault. He said that, but he's also talking about getting your focus in, getting your legs in, getting the work in. And again, he's right in saying that, because it's not all on him. but the players do need to step up and start to perform. So it's a team sport. The manager is part of that team. In regards to the issues off the pitch, which I want to address in a minute, he said they are not the biggest concern because we performed recently with all these issues being around us. So, I think the fact that they are offering him scapegoats and he's not taking it, for me, it's commendable on his behalf, because that is a big scapegoat that he can literally hang anything and everything on. But he didn't take that. He didn't take that handout. So, interesting press conference. I want to hear your take on this. I'm gonna start with let me start with Podfather. Podfather, give me your take on this press conference, mate.
Whew. Yeah, it was like you said. It was you could cut the tension with a knife, in the room. It was very interesting. Obviously, it brought the other quote into context about the tie being over. He's basically saying that I don't want to talk about it now. Let's go at Southampton, because this could spiral into something where all of a sudden we're drawn into a top 4 race. I'm trying to win Southampton. It's basically just putting down a marker down to the players that, listen, you guys, I don't know whether you lost that Brentford game because you were thinking about the Real Madrid game, but we need to focus one game at a time. Whatever the next game is, that's where we're going. Prove to me that you're good enough and you're back in that game, and then we go into the next game. Because like Couch said, you can't turn on form. So he's like, if I don't see the form in this Southampton game coming up, a lot of you guys getting benched. A lot of you guys probably not playing the next game. So it all depends on how you interpret it. That's how I interpret it. More like putting down a gauntlet to his players, because it's really hard to excuse that performance. In terms of him taking responsibility, I think if they had asked him certain questions, more tactical questions, I think he would have owned up to it, or he would have maybe had a chance to explain his thinking, and then we might have gone, yeah, maybe he had a point there. But yeah, I'm I don't know. It's a precarious point in the season. Like things were going smooth, to a certain point, and now all of a sudden it's like could easily get drawn into a top 4 race. Southampton and then Crystal Palace in the cup. They're not easy games, so let's see how it goes over the next week or so.
Yep. Let's go to Max.
Yeah. Okay. That was a bit of a heated press conference from him. He's not happy. But one thing I picked up, which I was going to mention there earlier, actually, when I think I mentioned it on your show a couple of days ago. We have played an awful lot of games this season. Final of the League Cup. We've played in the World Club Cup, the Super Cup. So if obviously we get knocked out at this stage now, and we reach the FA Cup final, then it'll only be 3 games short of playing the maximum amount of games in a season. And it's kind of catching up on the players as well now. A lot of players are off form. Some of them have been playing with injuries throughout the season as well, and that plays a big factor. But at the end of the day, this is Real Madrid in a cup quarter final in a packed Stamford Bridge. They don't even have the excuse of us not being able to sell tickets or anything. And if we can't get up for a game like this, then we're in serious trouble. We can't put in a performance like this in the second leg. We need these guys. I hope they have enough pride to go out there and perform a lot better in the second leg. Because face it, they're all under audition. They're auditioning for next season. So what Tuchel's looking at is, it's all when things were going good last season, it's all fine. But when in adversity, you find out who your characters are, who your big characters are. So, and this guy Bowley, if he does come in, he believes in that. Is that money ball where he looks at data and everything else. So there may be a few people out and a few people who can come in and play the sort of football that Tuchel wants to play. So I think the auditions until now, until the end of the season, for some of these players to prove that they are still worth a spot in the team next season.
Yeah, I think it's not a good audition, but I think it is also a factor with the amount of games that we're playing. Some of these players are being asked to play a lot more than they probably would have been expecting themselves to, especially the senior players. Let me go to Boogeyman. Boogeyman, what's your take on the press conference?
I was more even frustrated looking at Tuchel getting frustrated because he is the one that against Brentford was thinking about Real Madrid game because that midfield he put out against Brentford was not. We will never see Loftus-Cheek and Kante start any game. We all know Loftus-Cheek play good with Kovacic. It was just a fact. I'm pretty sure all Chelsea fan knows that. Ruben has performed really good with Kovacic. Of course, he is the one that has the Real Madrid game in the head. That's why we get run over by Brentford last week. And he is the one that is not coaching properly, at least doing the proper selections. I don't think it's anything to do with the player. He needs to clear his own mind and come back to the Tuchel we have a few days or a few weeks ago. Because all those things he was talking about, no, he took his some responsibility. But when he's talking about putting the leg in, putting the intensity in, we play against the Modric, the Kroos, those guys averaging 33, 34 years old and all those things. It's about the guy, the experience there. They know how to read the game properly. They just move the ball around. Those guys are playing counter. Okay? Just Chukwu, you are a master tactician. Just read the game and apply your brain to it, and we beat those people. Now you sit here and talking about like nonsense. For me, anyways, Tuchel just I just can't handle. I can't do. Now, whatever he did say today, go through my ear and get through the other one. Because I don't. He's the main guy that I'm blaming today. He is the one that cannot get out of, cannot just focus on one game. We win and move to the next game. We win it. Momentum is everything. We know that. We all know that. And hopefully he focused on a Southampton. We won the Southampton game. Then momentum coming to Real Madrid, and we need to put the player in it so they can play. No, all those jabby around. Anyways.
No. I mean, he did say Southampton is his focus is on Southampton.
He's not. It is not. That's what I keep saying.
No, but he said it is. He said it is. So after Southampton, then he'll be contemplating the away leg at Real Madrid. Bobby, your thoughts on the press conference, mate?
Yeah, Tuchel's press conferences are so good because he just tells the truth. And he feels for the club. He's angry because he wants to win. He's angry because, yes, he's probably a little angry at himself tactically, but ultimately the players didn't perform for him today. The mistake in the squad was made at the beginning of the season. The squad depth balance is not quite right. That's why we're suffering so much. We're missing Ben Chilwell like crazy. There's no backup for him. But even at that, we showed enough today to convince me that if we pick up our form, regardless of everything, regardless of the fact that, yes, the players are tired, we have been overplayed through COVID, through all sorts of things. We've really been put at a disadvantage. But if we dare pick up any sort of form, we're going to turn these lot over. I really believe that. They celebrated too much today, and that told me something. I was like, whoa, what's this? They're acting like they've won the trophy. They were scared and they were concerned. And if we go there and score first, they will be very concerned. If we score twice, they will fold. Trust me, they'll fold. They're not that good a team. It's just we did not give them a reason to be stretched. We just blew our tactics.
All right. Yeah. It was a little bit of it is going to be a very interesting second leg. Let me bring in Couch Critic, and then I'll bring in Boogeyman. Go on, Couch.
Yeah, sorry, guy. I gotta bounce after this. I'm actually at a gig, so I can't believe I've actually stayed on this long. But it's just too big of a match for me to pass up on this. Big up to the panel and whatnot. But as far as this this press conference goes, I think Max and Bobby kind of hit it right on the nail. And as much as we want to, you know, really hang this on the Tuchel and the fact that the tactics are wrong. We just don't have a squad right now. Like we played a lot of games, and it's not that we don't have a big enough squad. He doesn't have a squad big enough that he can trust. He doesn't have players in every position that he trusts that can come in and give you like for like substitutions. So he's had to run this squad into the ground, not because he's not a smart manager or a guy that, but like the stakes are high at Chelsea. You have to be competing at all levels. You have to be, when you're playing in the Carabao Cup, you have to get to the final. When you're playing in whatever, the FA Cup, you have to get to the finals. And if you can't trust a left back or a left wing back to come in and give you those minutes to get you to into those positions, then yeah, you're left to run these guys into the ground. Like Saul Niguez should be able to play against Brentford. He can't play against Brentford. The way they press, he can't play in those games. So then you're left to play with guys that like the mistake to me was you rested Kovacic. You rested Kovacic at the weekend. My thinking was he was going to start against Real Madrid, just based on the fact that he's basically been our best midfielder all season. He didn't play him. Then you go with Reece James playing as a midfielder rather than as a wing back. And you just, tactically, we were just all over the place. Like, I think that we were way too expansive, way too wide open, and we played right into their hands. And as much as that comes down to, us not being in the right set of mind, like jaded and not really, being able to overcome that jadedness, just due to the fact that we have a young squad, guys that haven't been playing at this level for a very long time. They don't know how to come through this the way that Drogba, Lampard, Terry, all those guys know how to come through periods of jadedness. We don't have a squad that can do that yet. So yeah, there's that. And then there's the fact that like Tuchel, I don't know, maybe he's jaded as well. Maybe he hasn't really been able to, see that every match is supposed to be played at 9 out of 10 performances. Because like when he's at PSG, they're playing in the French league. They can take 4 or 5 games off before they have to get up for another game. So you can actually mentally, rest. Whereas at Chelsea, every game is intense and high level. You can't take a day off. And maybe that's burnt him out as well, as a manager. Like he's making decisions that I wouldn't normally, associate with Tuchel. Simple decisions like, okay, well, where do you want to? You have a midfield of Casemiro, Modric, and the Cruz. What do you need in the midfield? You need energy. You got to be able to run at these guys because they're not going to be able to stay with you if you have the legs to do it. We play with a midfield too, and we get overrun in the midfield. I don't know. Anyhow, I don't want to get too much in the tactical battle because I think that like what we saw today just came down to the fact that we just did not have the right setup, and we played with way too cavalier. But just to harp on to one more point, and I'm just going to leave on this one. I really think that the hallmark of this team last year was the fact that we stayed with one specific tactic, and we basically rehearsed it and played it to death, and everyone knew what they were doing. Right now, what I'm seeing from Tuchel, it's showing me that he's searching for answers. He's playing 4 at the back. He's playing 3 at the back. He's playing on midfield 3. He's playing on midfield 2. Like all of these things means that he hasn't really come with a solution of what his stable base setup is. What are we supposed to be playing as a team? When we get into big matches, how are we setting up? And it showed today, we looked like we were playing 4 at the back, we looked like we were playing 3 at the back, and like it was a ragged performance based on the fact that nobody knew what they wanted, what was being asked of them on the pitch. And I don't think the tie's over, but I really do think that if we can't find that form, like on the weekend, like I mean, you're playing crisp football, like guys are playing and pressing with intensity, and like we're finishing opportunities and we're scoring, at will. That's the type of performance that we have to get to in order to go to the Bernabeu and actually affect this tie. Because anything close to what we've seen in the last 2 games, we're just going to get run off the pitch again, guaranteed. But fellas, I gotta go. It was really great talking to you guys. I know I haven't been on that much lately, but it's not because I don't want to be. It's just because work and family life is really caught up to me. But big up to everyone on the panel and hopefully and the chat, and hopefully we'll speak again soon. All right, guys.
Cheers,
Take care.
Dennis. Have a good one. Take care, brother. Have a good night. Cheers, Dennis. Before I go to Boogeyman, because Boogeyman, you want to take us to a different topic. So before we do that, let me just say hello to Julius and ask him for his opinion in respect to the game and the press conference. Julius, welcome. How are you?
Good. I missed you all, especially Max and Bobby. We haven't talked in a while.
Hi, Julius.
What is that, man?
And
What is that about?
And Boogeyman, but I do talk to you, Boogeyman. Yeah, I think I'm very disappointed with the game. To be honest, I was fuming, bro. It's Ramadan, it's fasting. I don't think my fast is gonna be accepted today because of the curses that I was saying throughout the game, and I don't want to blame Tuchel at all, in my opinion. And maybe I'm very defensive towards him or protective, but I feel tactically he didn't have any other choices. I think the lineup was decent. Christensen did not have a good game today, and I don't want to blame him alone that we lost because of him, but he was falling all over the place. He kept losing 50-50 chances, out of position. Aspilicueta was too slow. He can't play wing back anymore. I never was worried about Vinicius because I think he's very wasteful, but he's too quick. At the same time, the defense, the center backs were not covering Benzema. Basically, the 3 goals we conceded should have been avoided if we were on our game, our usual game. That game could have ended 1-0 for Chelsea. See you later. That's it. But they let us down on defense. Mendy third goal, very disappointing. I felt when we scored that 2-1, I felt, you know what, we actually probably will come back and make it 2-2 and maybe nick a win. But again, disappointing, absolutely gutted. I can't deal with Madrid fans, man. My phone is, you know how it is. My phone is destroyed right now. I'm gonna turn off my phone tonight. There are people who I don't even talk to. They're messaging me today. So very, very disappointed. I don't regarding Tuchel's press conference. I agree with him, and he's speaking the truth. The one thing that, however, that people, rival fans, Madrid fans, I know there are some in the chat. Chelsea is going through a very hard situation. That's what most people forgot. The pressure we're under, the sanctions, banks frozen. I'm not sure if it's true. Apparently, I heard the players paid for the fuel or something. I was told. I'm not 100% if this is true. There is a lot of pressure, external drama, and that is taking its toll eventually. I think I think we're out of Champions League, unfortunately. I cannot see us winning 2-0 away. By the way, 2-0 would take us through in the new rules or wouldn't be enough?
No, penalties.
Penalties. So there is no way we're going to beat them.
And Mendy. Penalty Mendy.
Oh, yeah. It's done, unfortunately. If it was 2-1, maybe, but there is no chance we're gonna go through. I can't see it. 3-0 impossible. Penalties, I can't see it. I don't know. Got it.
There's still a chance, but it's just way too slim. I'm not sure.
Yeah, a season is done. I want to mention before we move on, Mo. With all that drama and the issues we're going through, there is also the factor that Tuchel, I've seen a tweet today, very true. Tuchel won us 3 trophies and was not given any player in 3 transfer windows. So
Lukaku.
Yeah, but I don't think it was his signing. I can't believe that was his signing when you sign someone who you don't know how to use properly. Lukaku doesn't fit the system. today Lukaku should have scored, but I don't want to scapegoat specific players. I blame Christensen, I blame Mendy, I blame Aspi before, because we should not have been 3-1 down. Lukaku came at the end. Of course, he should have scored. The difference is Benzema had 4 chances. He scored 3. That's the difference. But we shouldn't have conceded 3 goals the way we did. That's why I want to focus on the defense aspect.
I'm hearing that Inter Milan are trying to find a way to sign Lukaku next season.
Never going to happen.
The thing is, it may do now. You know why? Because
they want to sell. Go on, Max.
No, I'm saying because Roman's writing off all the debts and everything else from the club, then we can take a hit on him without feeling the effects of it.
You know, I mean, what I read was that Inter Milan would sell someone, one of their big players, to try to compensate, because it's not only the transfer fee, but it's also the wage budget that they need to clear up some space for him. But that being said, him going back to play for Inter Milan and not with Conte being there, is that really something that is good for him? Is it really something that he'll be keen on doing? Apparently he is. So there's a lot of reporting on that. Look,
let's give him to Tottenham and we'll take Harry Kane.
Yeah, we'll do a straight swap. I ain't got an issue. In respect to the things that are happening off the pitch.
Can I mention something about the fan? People are saying the fan were loud today, but I don't think so.
Boogie, no. I spoke to Nick straight after the final whistle. He told me the atmosphere in the ground was brilliant, because he was there for Brentford and he was there for Real Madrid. And he said to me the game tonight was different. You know, the fans were up for it. They were giving the team
even at 3-1.
Well, I'm not sure what the atmosphere is going to be at. At 3-1.
It seemed a bit quiet after they scored that third goal.
Yeah, it's going to be different. It's going to be different, definitely. But it was different to where it was against Brentford. That has been confirmed. I want to give Bobby the opportunity to kick us off on the final topic of the stream. And again, Tuchel addressed this towards the end of his press conference, and he said that they did not have an impact on him or the players. However, how do you guys see it as fans? What is happening off the pitch in regards to Todd Bowley, the Ricketts, and all the other bidders, all this protests, all this discussion, all of these meetings? Are they having an impact? And is there a way that we can shield the team from this part of the business? And I'm going to get us kick it off here with Bobby. Bobby, let me hear your thoughts on this.
Yeah, I mean, look, the players will hear some of this, but just like we addressed earlier with Tuchel and his divorce situation, I think, they're professional enough and they do a job that, gives you the opportunity to focus. And I think they can be focused. Where it starts to affect them is when the crowd do what they did against Brentford last weekend. The players need the crowd now. They need us. They need us big time, because we're the people that get them over the line, especially at Stamford Bridge. Look at Stamford Bridge, Champions League night. The place was half filled. How much can one club take? I am in no doubt whatsoever that there is a concerted effort to inhibit Chelsea Football Club, stop the football club from winning even more things. I am in absolutely no doubt about that. It is within the Premier League. It is from the FA. It is from UEFA. The only thing that does surprise me is the government getting involved, because I no longer buy this. Oh, this is about the war and all that. No, it makes no sense. What is happening to Chelsea makes no sense to me whatsoever. Not when I look on YouTube and all these things and I see that the Russian guy is blocking up gas pipelines and serious things like that. And what we're doing, destroying one of our best football clubs, is pointless. It makes no sense. The war's still going on. So let's not kid ourselves with whoever came up with that. It's pointless. He's not sanctioned in America. The Ukrainian president is saying don't sanction him. The thing really does my head in when I think about it. I'm like, what are you doing? What are you doing? The sentiment against this club is so great that it even permeates the hallways of Westminster. I mean, what? Some guy stands up because he's got something against Roman and basically encourages this. And then the whole media are behind it. Chelsea have had a rough time. And of course it's going to affect us. It's a miracle, as I've said, that we've done what we've done so far. But all this attack on the club has just got to stop. It's exhausting for the players. It's exhausting for the fans. And if they just want to pull the plug on the club completely, well, I'm just getting to that point where what, you want to destroy, and see how far that will get you. Because as far as I'm concerned now, whoever wins the Premier League, it's not authentic. It's not authentic. Even whoever wins the Champions League is not authentic. Real Madrid cannot take pride in a victory on this, on this sort of platform. You've met a team with two hands tied behind their back.
Yeah, I'm gonna just say this about this aspect, Bobby. Real Madrid played a fantastic game of football today. Real Madrid, and especially Benzema, he took every opportunity he was given in a very, very professional and exquisite manner. I mean, his headers, the pressure that he put on Mendy and Rudiger to get his hat trick. I take my hat off to Benzema. I'm a fan. I'm a big fan of Benzema. However, I also agree with you, Bobby, in the fact that what we are going through is a big factor to why we performed the way we did. But it's not Real Madrid's fault. Real Madrid, they came to play Chelsea Football Club and they did a fantastic job for their team and for their fans. So I'm not taking anything away from their performance. I mean, I have a lot of issues with their president, with the Super League and whatnot. But tonight, Real Madrid, they deserved to walk away with the win, purely on the way that they played and the way that we played. The things that are happening off the pitch, it's not really on them. I agree. The government is a big factor. The referee played his role. There are issues there, but Real Madrid, they won the game that they came to play. So
I mean, you can only beat what's in front of you, and that's what's in front of them. You're right. It's not their fault that they were paired with a club that is inhibited. But they will know that deep down. They will know that there's a lot going on, and they've met Chelsea at a time where it was good to meet them. Just like Bayern Munich when we played them 2 seasons ago. They knew when they beat us that, look, this isn't Chelsea. All these teams know when they meet a weakened Chelsea. What concerns me, it's not the team. My gripe isn't with Real Madrid. My gripe is with the authorities and why they should stoop so low as to try and affect competition in this way. I'm struggling. I can't understand it. But outside of that, where the part that we have played in this problem is probably an evolutionary thing. We have terrible scouts, and I'm hoping that the new owners will get rid of what we've got there, because the whole scouting system is shambolic. And we had very, very bad planning at the beginning of the season. We have a good first team, and that's it. You know, all this stuff with the contracts is another thing that must be very unsettling and is extremely worrying. You know, I was a bit worried about the whispering going on between what's his name, the guy at the back for
Rudiger.
Yeah. So the guy that joined from Madrid, Alaba.
Oliver.
Talking to Rudiger. And, you know, they both speak German. And who knows what was being said. However, you know, having said that, you know, if he's after winning this game, trying to persuade Rudiger to join them, I think that would be a very big mistake because that would just make him dig his heels in. It's not the way. But having said that, you know, it's all very worrying. I mean, I just think, is it Monday that this whole thing, the 11th, that the preferred bidder will be known? To be honest, we need the bidder. They need to name who is going to own Chelsea now to create a stability for that club. And I'm on that cusp that, you know what, I'm almost past caring because they're going to select who they're going to select. So mine is, you know what, let's just stop all this faffing about, pick the person at that, look at what they've promised, and let's hold them to what they promised to do. And you know, that's it. If not, the whole thing's just going to go down the pan, especially if we get knocked out the Champions League.
All right. I'm going to go to Boogeyman. Boogeyman, your thoughts in respect to the issues off the pitch and their impact on Chelsea?
No, I think it is 100% affecting the players. I mean, the future is not really. There's no assurance about the future. The family, the player, they have family, they have people relying on them, and especially we have a few of our players without out of contract and a few couple months. So yeah, of course, this whole thing is affecting them. Even today at the beginning, I think it was the first 20 minutes. If you look at Mount and Harvard and Mount Harvard and Pulisic, they cannot understand each other properly and press in the like in an organized way. They Mount pretty much always trying to point to Harvard to be this way, or point to Pulisic, or even ask Kante to do. So they're talking. They don't normally do stuff like that. They just press and the back is covered. Everything is properly shit. But today it was just like they just wasted time talking, and that's something also I didn't like at all. Like you cannot come to the wall. That's when you're telling your then you showing your strategy when the walls. It has to go. It has to be prepared in the training, and not too much talking. You know what you're supposed to do. You know when mouse run left, where you have to go. You know when mouse is pressing diagonal. You know they have to know those things. It's not only that Mount will be complaining on it. Because he talks too much today, Mount today. So seeing those, it shows that there's a one or two or three players that are not full concentrated in the game. So that just means our field stories are affecting them. They're not getting properly shield from it, which is someone already said today. It's difficult to protect those players against the noise from the social media. They're reading it. Their family members are reading it. Their parents, because they're pretty young, also are reading them. So yeah, it is affecting them, and that's why we just line behind Bobby. I'm not going to say whoever has to come in because I don't want the wicked, but they need to figure this whole thing out as fast as possible to give some stability to those players. Because not only we need to renew those contracts, you have mentioned Rudiger, or if Christensen want to go here, bye bye. But we need some stability at this point. Or Chelsea will just be destroyed completely. Because if Rudiger is gone, Christensen is gone, and who else? I think Aspi stayed. And I'm not sure what happened to the loan. I'm not sure. Things are just going south at this one. We need some stability, But I'm sure the off-field stories are affecting the player. Because today concentration was not in that team.
Yeah. I'm gonna go to Podfather. But I wanna add a caveat to the question. Bobby said, "I want to see this issue resolved quickly, and we just get on with it." Boogeyman is talking about the focus and concentration aspect. How do you see this ending up? How do you see this panning out over the next few days?
Do you want me to answer that?
No, it was to Pod. Did my mic cut off? Or was it just to Podfather?
Then Pod is gone.
Podfather's gone. All right, I'll go to Max. Same question, Max.
Say again. No.
Yeah, sorry, Max. With what Bobby said in respect to looking to get this issue resolved as soon as possible in regards to the owners, and the fact that the whole situation is having a big impact on the focus and the concentration of the team. How do you see this panning out over the next few days? How do you see this ending up? I mean, which way is it gonna go?
I'm not the rain group, so I don't think. But if I was making a decision, I'm going to be looking at the Bowleys, I think, because.
But do you think it's going to the Bowleys, or does it look like it's going the other direction right now?
Obviously, yesterday there was a lot of noise around the Ricketts because they met up with Canners before, and they met with the Chelsea Trust, etc. But I think all the parties are going to have a chance to come over and make their pitch, and I think the Bowleys have come over today. They've actually attended the match. They are the fans' choice, as people can see, and. We had that interview by the PR woman Sharon, was there? I can't remember Sharon. And apparently they've got the resources as well. They've got the funds to keep us sustainable. So I know that Matt Law's been saying the Bowleys for a while now. There's too much noise around the Ricketts campaign I think they're trying a bit too hard now. They're just trying to say what they want the fans to hear, and I think the Bowleys have been consistent in their what they want for the club, and they haven't had to make. If you notice, they've been quiet for the past couple of days. Because I think they're probably quietly confident. They don't need to make a lot of big noise and stuff because I think they are quite happy with where they are at the minute. So. And plus, they've already done their due diligence for the club. They've, I know the Ricketts wanted to buy the club a couple of years ago, but so did the Bowleys. So they know what they're getting into. So, and they did say that's what the annoying thing, like what Bobby was saying, because they actually said if they were the preferred bidder, they were in place to complete a deal. By the end of last week, I believe they said they were in place for. So, I just don't see, what the delay is. We need to get a buyer as soon as possible. So let's just sort it out. Let's just. Why are we waiting for a week and then another week after that, and then it's just prolonging the situation? And I know there was a nonsense report in the paper yesterday and today about Roman Abramovich begging millionaires for money. That nonsense. So that's,
at least you have millionaire friends, Max. That you can beg
millionaire friends.
They were reporting just a few days ago that he released 30 million pounds, to keep Chelsea afloat. And all of a sudden he's begging his millionaire friends for £1 million each. Yeah, it's a funny one and it's a weird one. I know Boogeyman needs to. Yeah, and Simon Phillips is conveying that and reporting on that. You think Simon Phillips would have a little bit more
but he's got a firewall.
Before.
It's not about that though. He's behind his firewall, so he wants more people to go
subscribers
out.
And
it's a clickbait. That's what it is.
It is what it is. Boogeyman has to go, so Boogeyman, thank you for being here. Much love, much respect. We'll see you in the next stream, brother. Take care.
Cheers,
Take care, Boogie.
Thanks for having me. Take care, guys. Bye.
Take care. Bye. Yeah.
Let me go to Julius. Julius, Todd Bowley was at the game today, and it seemed like he was entering the stadium as just a regular Chelsea fan. You know, not through the back door, through the VIP security entrance, but rather from the from the main gate with the rest of the fans. He made sure that he would be attending this match. He travelled for this match. While the Ricketts family were in London today, and they left this afternoon. It's. I mean, we can read into it what we want, and we can make whatever assumption we want. The bottom line is this: it does look like it's a close race between the Ricketts and Todd Bowley. The media and the attention is on the Ricketts because we kind of gave them that attention by highlighting their racist comments, by talking about their Islamophobic and their bigoted views and their history in regards to that aspect has really given them a lot of media exposure. Todd Bowley is been doing what he's been doing, behind the scenes. And it looks like his bid, from my reading, is very strong because he's not had to make many adjustments to it. While the Ricketts family is adding daily, adding new names, new investors, new people to their bid. Now, that reads to me as someone who feels that they are not in the lead. They need to try to bolster their position, because if they were in the lead and if they had what it takes to buy Chelsea, they wouldn't be needing to bring in Gilbert and whatnot. Todd Bowley seems to have done all of his legwork early doors, and now he's just following the routine and the procedures. That's how I'm reading it. Do you concur? Do you disagree? What's your thoughts on this?
Yeah, I agree with you, Mo. Absolutely. Why would you bring on more people to take off your shares? And usually adding more investors is complicated by itself if you think you're gonna get it. It's definitely a position where they feel they may need additional investors. Now, the question about the Ricketts consortium: who has the majority? We don't know anything about this yet. They may be on the we call Ricketts bid, sure, but are they actually the majority shareholders? I don't think so. Griffin could be, or the other guy, which I don't remember his name, could be. Who knows? Gilbert, yeah. So who knows? No one knows. Maybe they are the ones at the leading the bid, but that doesn't mean they're going to be the exclusive Chelsea owners who are going to have the absolute power to make decisions. That could change things. However, for me personally, I don't want them, no matter what, whether they hold 10%, 20%, 50, whatever, because fundamentally I don't agree with it from a moral perspective, because we are getting rid of Roman based on moral and ethics. To bring people like that who are racists, then what's the point? Plus, their own fans are against them. So I find it very hypocritical from the UK government to even allow facilitating owners like that to the Premier League. When we want to question the Saudi Arabians based on ethics and morals and human rights and stuff, I think we need to keep the same consistency when it comes to the Ricketts. They were racist against not only Islam, they were racist against black people as well. They are anti-Semitic. There is a lot of question marks about this family. So yeah, like human, isn't it as being racist to black people and Muslim not against human rights, or is it? Or you have to be Saudi Arabian to be questioned about these things. So that's where I get really frustrated. Because the moment we heard about the Saudi media group, everyone, and we called them out, me and you, on Twitter, Mo, if you remember, started saying, for ethical reasons, I don't feel comfortable with the Saudi media group. Well, what do you know about them? They are a private entity. Just because there is a Saudi thing in the title, you want to start judging that they're bad people? Every billionaire is going to have connections with the government, no matter where you're from. That is a given. Whether you're a kingdom, whether you're a republic, it doesn't matter. A guy who's a billionaire in Saudi Arabia obviously he's gonna know people and have connections with the government. That's normal. That doesn't mean he should be labeled as corrupted XYZ because he's Saudi. That's racist. So
yeah, I mean, Fazor here has a comment. He says Saudis got rejected because of debt situation. Fazor, we know why they were rejected. It was because of their bid was largely funded by loans, and that is fine. You can discuss that, but what Julius is talking about is the way that people were speaking out against the bid based on where the bid was coming from, rather than how strong a bid it was. I mean, this comment, no problem, no issues with it.
Yeah.
You can tell me that the bid was weak. You can tell me they didn't have enough money. I would totally understand that, and I would totally agree with you. But to tell me that because they're Saudis, they're going to have human rights issues. Well, no, because the Saudi government has human rights issues. This is a private consortium within Saudi Arabia. Do they have connections? Possibly, probably, because they're billionaires. So they can, but does that connection mean that they are involved in those human rights issues? No. But again, Julius, this is the problem that the British government has started with them attacking, and I say the word attacking deliberately, with them attacking Roman Abramovich for his relationship with Putin has opened a can of worms, because tomorrow anyone with any relationship with anyone 20 odd 30 odd years ago could be open to this kind of treatment. And we've seen what Roman Abramovich has been doing with that relationship that he has with Putin. And the Ukrainian president himself has asked America not to sanction him because of his influence in these peace talks. So it's a line that is very thin, and it depends on where you stand and how you perceive things. You're going to have different of opinion. Before I come back to you guys, I've put the link in the chat. I will be taking calls from the chat for the next 10 minutes. So if anybody wants to come in and give me their thoughts and opinions, you're welcome to do so. The link is in the pinned comment. Click on it, jump on, and give me your thoughts and opinions.
Yeah, I've got to shoot now because I've got an early start tomorrow. Yeah. So
take care, Max.
Yeah, thanks again for having me on, guys, and take care.
Pleasure. Good night, Max. Take care, brother. Thanks for coming on. We are 24 likes away from 100. If you guys can do me a favor and just get us over that 100 like barrier, much appreciated. And if you haven't subscribed yet, please do so. We'll be live for another 10-15 minutes. Podfather, are you back or are you still away? Pod? I think Pod might be gone. I'm gonna remove him from here. Bobby, anything else you want to add in respect to the situation with the owners?
I mean, you're quite right. A situation has been created where, for want of a better term or expression, we are looking for honor amongst thieves and selectively choosing which one is more honorable. I'm tired of the whole thing, the sort of hypocrisy behind it, the biases. I'm just tired of it, really. Who is squeaky clean? Nobody. I really see that. How I see this process is that I don't think the sentiments that are being expressed within certain circles of the Chelsea fan base, because these sentiments are not expressed in all circles of the fan base, believe me. I don't think it's relevant. to their decision making. I think they have a process, they have a format, and should you continue to advance through those processes and formats, you will progress. It's just if there's a situation at the end of the bidding process where they find that there are, for example, two preferred bidders, then the issue of morals or who the fans prefer the most might come in. But as it stands now, I don't think that's even being looked at. And the issues being raised, as heinous as they are, it's not going to be a disqualifier from progression. What will disqualify you is if you blatantly come in or refuse to sign up to the code of conducts of the club, then you've got a problem. But if you are happy to sign up to whatever code or cultural progression the club is looking to go to, it's not going to inhibit you. I don't think your past will be held against you that much. That's just how I'm seeing it. I don't know whether it's factual, but that's just how I'm seeing it. That's why the Ricketts have stayed in the game for so long. And I raised the question, was it today or yesterday on Twitter about this? And as I said, it just seems to me that it doesn't have unified Chelsea condemnation. And there are some that are paying lip service to the condemnation, but they're not totally convinced. They're more convinced by what is coming from the Ricketts camp in their somewhat, their attempts at remorse and their attempts at resetting themselves or representing themselves as people that are embracing diversity. Just how true that is, we will never know what how committed any of them are to the bids they make until they're in that position. That's the unfortunate thing. Are there legally binding things that they can sign up to? Possibly. I don't know. I really don't know how it works with
Bobby,
club owners.
for me, the racist aspect of their bid is a concern. It's a massive concern.
No,
but hold on. But for me, as a Chelsea fan, and as a person who had massive concerns with the previous owner, or with the current owner, I should say, I want to see this whole thing being judged on the strength of the bid mainly, and I'll tell you what I mean. The Ricketts family's bid for me looks weak purely for the fact that there is so many reportedly strong elements within this bid. Griffin can actually buy Chelsea all by himself. Gilbert can buy Chelsea all by himself. Supposedly the Ricketts family can buy Chelsea all by themselves. So the fact that they're having to bring in three massive entities together, and these are the ones that we know about because there might be others that are holding smaller shares, tells me that there is something about this bid that isn't quite right. The Todd Bowley bid, on the other hand, the entity that was formed with him and with the Wise guy or Wiz guy seems to have been built early doors, and it was and it's been maintained as that. It's a more stable bid. We saw with Nick Candy, he brought that South Korea lady. He brought a couple of others in, and then as soon as things started to go funny, everything just dissipated. So the strength of the bid is something that is important for me. Now the racist issues and whatnot, I could Give him a chance. If that bid is selected, I am prepared to stand back and just watch and see if these guys are able to to redeem themselves, because we all make mistakes. We all say things that we shouldn't have and do things that we shouldn't do. And if you're telling me that this isn't who you are and you're prepared to change and whatnot, I'm not going to believe you, but I am going to judge you based on your actions moving forward.
Exactly.
So for me, I'm against the wicket bid. I do not want to see them anywhere near Chelsea Football Club. But if they do come in, and I want them to come in on a strong bid. I don't want them to. I mean, because right now I'm seeing two issues. I'm seeing the strength of the bid, and I'm seeing the racist aspect of the bid as well. And this is why I'm going towards Todd Bowley. Again, I don't think Todd Bowley is perfect, but I think he has a better bid than these guys. And this is for me is where I stand. And like you, Bobby, it's not something that is easy to digest. It's something that is going to take us time, and maybe because we have been hit with such a painful situation with Roman Abramovich, we don't want to see ourselves in a similar position in 5, 6, 10 years down the line. We want to see some sort of stability in our club, and this is where I am.
There is a topic more I want to talk or raise, actually, since you and Bobby is here.
Yeah.
You both are English, local Chelsea fans, and both have been to the stadium many times.
Yeah.
There is a huge issue that that bothered me for such a long time, and I don't understand why the communities such as We Are the Shed, that Chelsea supporters trust, and other, I'm not sure if there's any other, and maybe like big social media influencers, let's say. Our home atmosphere is embarrassing. It's shameful. This is something that needs to seriously be discussed and organized, because, for example, against Brentford and today, today was a little bit better than Brentford game, but Thomas Tuchel wasn't the first manager to speak up and basically call out the fans, home fans, to show us more support. Mourinho done it before. I think Conte has done it before. Many other managers have done it before. You look at these fans, they just need popcorn, as if they're sitting in cinema watching a romantic movie. Oh, yeah, there's clapping. What is that support? We only hear them cheering when we score or when we're winning or in the beginning of the game, and then that's it. Once the team is under pressure or struggling, everyone is quiet. That's exactly when everyone should be screaming and yelling and supporting like all out. We need to make Stamford Bridge an actual fortress that is intimidating for people to come in. Back in the days, that used to be the case.
Do you know what it is, Julius? And
Yeah.
I will say this from direct experience. Somebody who has been going to the bridge for decades, even at the time where it was basically like a dog racing track. I was there. And you see, just like football has evolved, in places like Italy and so on, you have your ultras, this hardcore, usually young male, sadly, um, quite sort of far right, fanatical support. Now, over the years, they have really been the people that make the noise. At Chelsea, the shed, I've seen the shed tremble at the noise coming from the groups that used to inhabit that area. You see, the football following traditionally, even before we got the bad elements, traditionally it was a young working man's way of just getting entertainment, a little bit of escapism from the difficulties of life. And, you pay, a bob or two, you're watching your team for 90 minutes, you can scream and holler. If they win, you're elated. If they don't, you're down, and it doesn't help your week anyway. But at least you've had that adrenaline rush. And it was where men gathered and they would do their thing. It's not like that anymore because we've been trying to get rid of that, and rightly so, get rid of that element that at one point, especially in England, started getting violent. We've introduced a more family friendly environment. And you see, a club like Chelsea, not only now is that family friendly environment introduced, but then we have the tourist environment. People that come, not all foreign fans are like you that understand the culture. Some people actually are tourists. They come there to take photographs and to pose, and they are literally eating their popcorn and watching the game. They're not screaming, they're not emotionally involved, and even if they are, they don't know how. They don't know the songs, they don't know the chants. So that's what's happened to the atmosphere. And the few remaining people like yourself, Mo, and Max, and so on. If you're not working at the bridge like I do sometimes, you are either just either a member and getting a ticket that puts you in a position where you're not really with the singers, or even if you are a season ticket holder, you are mixed up with this sort of less vocal crowd. In the days when I was a lot younger and I would go to Chelsea, I would try and go with a pack of my friends, not because we were going to look for any trouble, but because I knew we could really sing. In fact, sometimes we were so vocal that we would start a chorus of, One Man Went to Mo or something like that. It came from the young lads together, and that's what's missing. Will we ever get that back? Probably not. That's why you find in a lot of stadiums, they put speakers there. So the few areas where people sing, they position them in and make the stadium in such a way that it echoes around to try and create atmosphere. The football atmosphere as we knew it is going, certainly in this country, at the top level. The places where it still exists, I admire how they managed to do it. Like Germany, Dortmund have an incredible way of making their fans vocal, but they rehearse it. They have a group that belong there to their supporters club, that is their purpose. Maybe that's the way forward at Chelsea. I don't know.
Yes.
Yeah,
I mean,
I wanna. Sorry, Julius. I just want to add something to what Bobby said. I mean, I agree with Bobby 100%. Yeah, everything he said there is spot on. The issue is this: you have to try to cater for all types of fans, and this is where things are being pushed in a more commercial avenue. Families like to come to football matches, like to make a day out of it. Probably will be prepared to spend a little bit more money than the younger generation. The 20, 18-year-old fans are less likely to be able to afford these season ticket prices. Even some of these Premier League prices, cup game prices. So they are trying to cater for everyone, but at the same time, they are diluting the loud fans, if I want to use that term. And when I say loud, it doesn't necessarily mean something that is bad. On the contrary, the noise, the atmosphere is generated by the shed, by the harding stand, more than the East and the West End. But it's all about the commercial move forward, and this is one of the reasons why a lot of Chelsea fans were against the Americans coming in, because we're going to see more of that happening moving forward. I've been to baseball games in the United States, in America. I've been to baseball games, and it's literally just sitting there. I mean, there's probably more noise in the cinemas here in London than there is at these baseball matches, because it literally all it is when the guy throws the ball and he hits it, you get a little bit of a reaction, but the rest of the time everyone's just sitting there eating their nuts and drinking and eating their hot dogs and whatever. So it's not the same kind of atmosphere as we have in a football match. So it's never. Unfortunately, I agree with Bobby again. It's never going to be the way it used to be, and for me, it's a bad thing in respect to the passion that we had at the or that we have at the stadiums. But at the same time, it's more of an entertainment where you're going to get more families going to watch football matches. So, go ahead, Julius.
If I can just say one thing, which actually makes me laugh a bit, but it's very true. I can remember once. Remember when United came to the Bridge and we give them 5-1, and Beckham was I think he scored their one goal. There was this group of young ladies, and they were making more noise, giggling and screaming when Beckham came to the touchline than when we scored. And that just said everything to me. It's not that they're any less Chelsea fans than anybody else, but that's just their way. Does it fit into what we want to see in terms of the noise at the club? Well, definitely not. Now, that was a small section, but that section is growing more and more. And that's why the noise is getting less and less.
Bobby, there's a question here for you from ITM. Did you ever watch Torre Angier Flo playing live?
Yes, I did. Yeah. Actually, do you know what? I only saw Flo ever at away games. I remember seeing him at Selhurst Park when we played Wimbledon. He was very quick, but his touch wasn't the best. But the thing about Flo was he could score. I'll take him now for our 97 million.
97 million. Yeah.
Poor guy had to always come off the bench as well, because we had the likes of Vialli, Hughes, Zola. I mean, we had such a powerful strike force.
Yeah. Johnson, I think, was there at the same time as well. Ida Johnson.
Ida came a little bit later, but yeah, he came more around the time with Hasselbank.
Yeah,
we brought him from
true.
Bolton.
Yeah. Julius, did you want to add something to this?
Yeah.
It was your question to start us off.
Yeah, I wanted to say when Bobby mentioned the Germans, and I want to add to that Crystal Palace. I know back in the days it was a dangerous venue, and those sorts of ultras in Italy, there is in Scotland too, Rangers. I'm not really familiar if there is any political affiliation or any hard right wing, maybe racism among the, let's say, Union Bears of Rangers. I don't know. However, I think what needs to happen as a fan base, if there is...
It is politically founded. The foundation is political for sure.
Yeah.
The Rangers Celtic issue.
Yeah. However, Bobby here, my what I want us to suggest, and Mo maybe because you're an influencer as well, and you have your connections. As a community, what we need to do is revolutionize the way we support the team to kind of adapt to the modern situation. Maybe introduce drums, something similar to what Crystal Palace has been doing. It doesn't have to be the way they do it in Italy, because in Italy, it's not the ideal way. There is a lot of racism. There is a lot of issues with even the chants that they sing are not really good. But maybe drums, maybe the there should be some discussions on on a club level as well, to have one section, just like how they have in Dortmund, for example, one section of the stadium. This section, no seats, stand. Like, they've introduced this even recently in the Premier League, and we were one of the clubs who were picked to test it. One section, no seats, stands. Make it big and make it similar to how they have it in Dortmund, kind of steep a little bit, so it kind of look intimidating when you're looking at it. And people who wants to jump, yell, scream, which is going to be a young crowd, be there. But this is where these groups that are like We Are the Shed or others, for example, in the community, who are organizing things like banners and other things, should organize groups like that are on these sections, having chants, no political affiliation, pure football support. And that is doable because they did it in Germany. There are some clubs in the Premier League who have something similar. And I think we should be able to do something like that for Chelsea. As a community, the leaders, the influencers, this is a discussion that needs to happen. Not only in the fan base, also with club owners, the new club owners. The atmosphere needs to improve. We are the 12th player.
That will certainly happen with the involvement of fans on the board. A lot of things like the banners that you see already, they're all sort of fan initiatives, but the noise or the support and the chanting organized will come from the fans as they are present on the board. One thing that is always good is that Chelsea fans are very intelligent people and they support the club intelligently. And I think we will find a way around this. However, it remains important that we keep our young men at the stadium because whether we like it or not, they are the people that will be the base of that noise you're talking about. There's definitely something different when a group of 10,000 men starts screaming and not screaming, start shouting and singing as opposed to a group of 10,000 children. So, we have to keep that balance and make sure that we encourage our young men to still come to games peacefully, not like in the past, but just purely, as you've said, sing songs based on the club and not on any sort of weird other things.
Do you guys think the reason why we're in this position right now, and it is a topic that even Tuchel is addressing, is because of the change in the footballing culture, or is it because of what the club is going through with Abramovich? What is the main factor here?
It's twofold, isn't it? I think it's an evolution. Roman did well. Roman did well in his inclusivity, his embracing diversity. Roman did a lot of things in making the club what it is today. But now we have to take it that next step. He started until, he had this problem to bring fans onto the board, especially after the whole European Super League debacle. And it is with that connection with fans that we will start to introduce things like they have in Germany, in Bayern, and particularly Dortmund. Those sorts of clubs, their support is incredible. But you see, there's also another thing that inhibits us in this country is our health and safety laws. The Germans can bring huge banners and wave them, and that adds to the atmosphere. Whereas we can only do it at certain times, which I find very amusing. When the game isn't on, we can then raise our flags. As soon as the game starts, we have to put them down. But that will change with expanded non-seating areas.
Julius?
Yeah, to be honest, I mean, it's a very topic. I'm very passionate about this topic because that is an issue we've had for many years, and we are the 12th players. and on the pitch, and we can't keep quiet when we're losing. It's unacceptable, man. This is where we need to support the team, not when we're winning. Look, we concede a goal. They're quiet. They're sleeping. If I was there, I would be losing my head, man. I can't. We're very passionate, you know, and I took a dig on a lot of the season ticket holder. Maybe I offended some people. I'm sorry if I did, but I'm like, if you're not gonna be supporting the team properly, give up your season ticket and let someone properly come support the team. If you're gonna sit there, eat popcorn, and watch as if you're watching a movie on a date with your girlfriend on Valentine's Day, when you're
A lot of them are. A lot of them are. I've got to say, grudgingly, I really have to say that in English football, especially top flight, the only club that has managed to maintain that old-fashioned level of support, even that has dwindled a little bit, but less so than that, certainly compared to what it was in the past, is Liverpool. I mean, Liverpool, the way they support their team is what I want us to do, to be honest. And it's not like they're more passionate about Liverpool than we are, but they're certainly more vocal, for sure. I have to admit that. And it
I
hurts
saw
me
that
to say that.
firsthand. I saw that firsthand in the Carabao Cup final at Wembley. They
Yeah.
were really, really up for that. They even had their flares going in the second half, but I think it's the culture. I mean, Newcastle have loud fans as well. It's the culture of the team, the fan base. I think we have kind of become more what's the word here, conservative in the way we support our club for some reason. I mean, the last couple of games I went to, I was sitting in the Westview Upper, and it really is quiet. It really is quiet, and the last two games I went to was the Malmo Champions League and the game against Tottenham. We played Tottenham, and it wasn't that loud in the stand that I was in. So yeah, I think it's a culture thing. It's a culture thing in respect to where we're moving to, and I agree. Maybe standing supporters might help. I'm not so keen on introducing musical instruments, i.e. drums and whatnot, unless they're going to be utilized by paid individuals. We have stewards to keep the crowd in check, or we can have individuals who are able to keep the crowd energized. I mean, we can pay people to play a certain instrument, to chant in a certain way. I know they do that in America. In America, they have people who are not only the cheerleaders who do their business on the sidelines, but or on the touchlines, but you also have people within the crowds who help to get people going. So maybe that is something we can introduce. DJ Sav is coming on. Wow! I mean, I was about to conclude, but DJ Sav's here. I might as well go on for another 15 minutes.
Lateness is greatness.
Latest is greatest. DJ, big up to you. Welcome.
Guys. Yeah, sorry
Welcome.
I'm late. Sorry I'm late on your stream, bro. I was actually at the match today, mate. That's the only reason why I'm coming on now to talk to you. I mean, look, very obviously disappointed with the result. Can't really. First of all, big up to Julius and big up to Bobby, by the way. Big up to everyone in the comments as well.
Big up.
Yeah, look, I don't know what happened today, guys. Again, a very, very bad first half. Obviously the two goals Benzema scored. Look, whatever anyone wants to say about them, they were just class headers. The second goal, especially, I don't think any goalkeeper would have probably got to the second one. Obviously, Kai Havertz got us our goal back in the first half before half time. Then you're thinking, yep, we're going to kick on now. Half time, Thomas Tuchel will get them. His team talk won't be probably as bad, even though the first half wasn't great. And then what happens in the 46th minute? the bundle mistake. Mendy happens, and the mistake he did. I mean, usually a brilliant Mendy, as you would all know, would usually kick the ball into row Z. For some reason or another, he decided to chest it, and then obviously the muddle up between him and Rudiger, and then Benzema had a nice tap in. I mean, look, you can't take anything away from the Real Madrid performance today. They played very, very well. I mean, Chelsea today were not that great. I could see Thomas Tuchel. I heard him after I came home. I was hearing his post-match. The way he was talking, he was vexed, absolutely vexed. You could tell in his voice what he was saying, and he goes, he even said apparently that I'm not even thinking about the Bernabeu. We've got Southampton to think about on Saturday, and that's where if we carry on playing like this, then we might as well forget about getting anything from the Bernabeu, because our season has to start all over again almost, because 7 goals, guys. Whenever you know in Chelsea to concede 7 goals, I mean, like in 2 matches, it's embarrassing, man. It was bad. It was really, really bad today. Really, really. Christensen, look, when I saw Christensen today, as much as I wanted him to start this game today, I was happy. Then I'm seeing Vinicius. The guy cooked him, absolutely cooked him on that side today. Made him look really, really average, an average defender today. But look, it's...
Where were you seated, DJ? Which stand?
I always stand in the I'm always in the Matthew Harding upper. That's my
Harding.
place. Right. Always Matthew Harding upper.
DJ, we were talking about the fans' reaction to the game. Can you tell us how did it feel from the stadium, from your perspective?
From the very beginning, as you could probably see, from the very beginning, you got there was a massive. Obviously, you could hear the crowd shouting, because obviously Thomas Tuchel told us before. I think it's before the match. He needs to hear the fans. The fans, to be fair, we had all our blue flags out. The flags are all there, screaming it all out. And then obviously, we were cheering and cheering. And obviously, when obviously Benzema got that goal, obviously it went quiet. It was like a library, almost. And then obviously they went and got that second goal. We started making noise. Obviously the song was going out. Champions of Europe, we know what we are. We know what we are. Champions of Europe, we know what we are. That was all being sung out through the whole stadium. Then obviously they went and got those 2 goals. And then obviously we're thinking, okay, we better stop the singing for a little while. And then obviously when Kai Havertz got the goal, mate, the singing started again. We're obviously, because we were starting to come a little bit on top, and then the second half, mate, again went dire. They got that 3rd goal, kind of like cut the crowd down again, but we were still singing throughout. Still, But I agree, we should still make it into a spiritual, like all other fans do. When your team is down, you're supposed to be in there 24/7, regardless. And sometimes I just felt like we always do. We all felt down when we went that 2-0 down. The fans went quiet again. But it's what it was, and then we found our voices again. But Real Madrid, they killed the game, mate. Their 3rd goal killed the game. Richly, Chelsea were just chasing goals after that.
I think DJ, the players, I was really focusing on actually the support and the players' performance, and I noticed a pattern when we were chanting hard. There was actually momentum on the pitch. These players are humans. They feel the adrenaline. They want that motivation. When we concede is when we should actually go next level.
Correct. I agree, Julius. I agree.
Because I saw the drive. I heard patches of support from the fans, which was a lot better than the Brentford game. But it was not enough. I think if we make Stamford Bridge an intimidating stadium, people who come like Madrid and others, they're going to think twice, because they're going to be like, oh my God, we scored. This is going to be tough. They're going to come at us. The fans are going to go crazy. It's going to be a long day. We don't make it like that for rival teams. And this is something, you're a regular. Bobby is there. Mo is there. This is something that needs to be discussed, I think, more in the community in England, with people who are regulars, with organizers. This atmosphere needs to improve. It bothers me because I'm very passionate. If I'm there, I'd be losing my head. I'd be screaming and yelling all over.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, just a quick thing. I'm just reading a question from Frazor. He was asking, did I see Todd Bowley? To be honest with you, I know he was there tonight. I didn't really look out for him, to be honest with you. I was too concentrated on the game to even think about it. I know he was there tonight. I know, from what I understand, he did bite. I think they showed live pictures of him as well going to the ground. But yeah, look. This situation on the topic of ownership, I think I don't know what's going to happen. Obviously, by him being there tonight, I'm sure there's going to be discussions happening tomorrow with him bringing his proposal to Chelsea. But in terms of the game in itself, like Julius has said, we should be making more noise, and I 100% agree because it does work. Because every time when we do go a goal down, the players do hear what's going on around them, and the more you show that support, the more you can see the players will get. And the players started to up their game, to be fair. You saw the challengings going in. You saw them going and getting some chances. I mean, we had several chances today as well. I mean, Aspilicueta, had a great chance as well. That was saved by the snake himself.
Snake, yeah.
Yeah, the snake. And then reached. I tell you what, of all the players I can say today, who could actually hold a head up a little bit today, I have to say, was Reece James. I thought he came back today. He did try today. He had a few shots today. He had saved. He did a few challenges. He did a few. He actually at one point I don't know if you guys had a chance to see. He dodged the two of the Real Madrid defenders and got his cross into the box, but there was no one in there to finish it. He had a good game today. Kai Havertz again was always full of energy. He got his goal. I just thought the rest of the team, Rudiger wasn't looking his usual self as he is. I mean, you can see, I don't know if it's to do with the fact that they've all come back from international duty, with Ramadan fasting as well. Did that get to some of the players? I don't know if that could have been another thing.
I mean, Iftar was 10 minutes before kickoff, so Kante, Rudiger would have had a chance to eat something before kickoff. Ziyech should have probably had a meal. Because he came in the second half. I think I'm getting an echo from someone. I think the game. I'm getting an echo. Can you guys put your mics on mute? I think Bobby might have fallen asleep. Bobby, can you hear me?
Yep.
I thought you were snoring for a second there. Because I was getting some echoing noises. I think Ramadan is definitely going to impact our team. That being said, it normally impacts our team in a positive way because both Kante, Rudiger, Ziyech, and Kurt Zouma last year, they performed really well while they were fasting. So fasting didn't really affect them in a negative way. In fact, I actually think they performed better. So we'll see. We'll see what's going to happen moving forward. I know the Southampton game is going to be a very, very important game purely because it's on the back of two crazy defeats against Real Madrid and Brentford. We will be doing a preview and a post-match for that game. So make sure you guys are subscribed to the Blue Lounge. I will try to do another stream. I've been pushing it, but I will try to do another stream in the next couple of days. I have got a stream lined up for you guys with one of the big Chelsea YouTubers. And it will be coming very soon. I haven't set a date yet, but it will be coming very soon. And it's going to be, the biggest YouTuber to come on the Blue Lounge.
I think I might know who it is.
You've seen him. You've seen me and him talking a couple of times over the past couple of videos, and So he's made appearances on the Blue Lounge, but not in a live capacity. But he will be doing a live Q&A show with us in due course. The only issue is I fast, he fasts, so both of us are going to have to try to figure out a good time to stream. So just bear that in mind, lads. But we are working on something together, and hopefully we will have that show for you. So make sure you subscribe and turn that bell notification button on. Look, lads, not happy about the result. Not happy about the position we're in the Champions League. But I am happy that we're still in with a chance. 2 goals is not impossible. I mean, A lot of people were predicting tonight to be a 2-0 victory for Chelsea. Didn't pan out that way, but we can go to the Bernabeu and we can get a result. This is the world champions. This is the champions of Europe. Yes, we are having issues. But we've had issues since forever. If it isn't, the transfer ban, if it isn't for managers keep continuously being sacked, if it isn't for Roman Abramovich being sanctioned, if it isn't for the club being sold for £1, if it isn't for millions and millions of reasons, we've been through it all and we've seen it all, and we're still here. We're still fighting. So we'll continue to fight. So lads, we've got blue blood in our veins. We're going to keep that blue flag flying high, and we're going to continue to battle it out against all the odds. Big up to everyone. Thank you
100%.
all for being here. Appreciate you all. Today has been Julius's reveal live on the Blue Line. So
We've seen
camera
him
reveal.
before.
We have, but briefly.
I've seen him.
This is his second time live with us on camera. He contributed to the No to the Wickets.
I remember that video.
So he was there as well. So big up to Julius, and thank you all for your support, guys. I'll see you all in a couple of days. Have a good night.
Peace, everyone. Take care.
Big up.